There comes Stewart now.
That delivery was short and just swaying out of the way was bad. And of course, not having the carry, which we spoke about at the pitch report, it actually died on the way to the wicketkeeper, who collected it one bounce. Nevin would not be impressed with that.
Yeah, Deemsbeard deciding just to give that one a miss, leave that one alone. I think it's head height as opposed to shoulder here. That was well played, just guides that down to third man. They come through for a single. Not sure who that is down there picking up.
So Nevin Short's plan is clear here. He's going to bowl short. He's going to try to bowl back off a length. He's not going to pitch up. We haven't seen that in this over. Score goes on now to 5 without loss. So a lovely breeze just blowing across the ground. It has brought some sort of relief, some sense of relief for us here. And hopefully things cool down a bit. It has been very hot today.
Lazama it is, who's on strike now. Stewart's up to the wicket, he bowls and up on his toes to play that one defensively down into the ground, and there's no run.
So Lazama and Stewart would be very familiar with each other. They would both ply their trade in Trinidad at the Premiership level. I want to say a very good afternoon to Kerwin John, the president of the TCA, and also to the chief secretary, Mr. Ansel Dennis, who is a big supporter of this tournament. I think, are we going to see him in action on Friday?
Yeah, I think he's set his stall out, hasn't he? He's having a bit of a laugh and a joke about it, but when it comes to game day, I think he's serious enough. He's played, representative cricket, so he'll be ready.
I would have liked to have seen you out there as well, Sheldon.
I think they have younger guys, I'm afraid. Past the sell-by date, I think, is the term that they use. Here comes Stewart again. Lazama awaits the next delivery, and he plays that defensively. They think about a single, it's not there. Stewart fields off his own bowling, and there's no run.
So excellent start here by the Rainforest Rangers. Both bowlers who are, to be honest, the two most experienced bowlers in this lineup. That's Ansel Ned and Nevin Stewart. They have been right on spot thus far. They've kept Lazama and Deemsbeard. Another man, Deemsbeard, who plays a lot of cricket in Trinidad. They've kept them pretty quiet.
Yeah, I suppose if you're at home, you might be thinking slow start. Well, it is definitely a slow start, but I don't think that is going to hold the Islanders back. They've got plenty of batting, and they'll pick the tempo up.
Isn't Tobago lovely as we continue the action? 2 deliveries going in the over. This is the third, and yet to get a run is Lazama. Is pushing it away on the offside on that occasion. Or is that Baird? That's Baird. That's pushing it away on the offside. And so far, Ansel Ned just on and about that off stump, getting the ball to turn away from the left-hander. Drives nicely up to mid-off. There's a bit of a bubble, and the pressure valve is released. So that's one, and 1 to Baird. The score goes on to 6 without loss, and seems as if Little Tobago Islanders have gone to bed.
Yeah, this can't really go on for too much longer.
That's an on drive that goes just short of the boundary, and they're going to come back for 2. Lazama, an experienced campaigner.
Lovely shot all the way along the ground. Maybe they are just beginning to get in gear now.
So free hit is going to come up because that was a no ball.
I think it may have been an infringement on the number of fielders that were in the circle, as opposed to overstepping.
It definitely was not a front foot no ball.
Not from your spinner anyway.
For height. So definitely, Nevin Stewart is having a word with the umpire. It was all about how many players were in the 30-yard circle. Remember, we still have 1 over again for the power play to be completed. So how was your morning, Sheldon?
Good night, nice and quiet. I wanted to get up earlier. I always like to be at the ground as early as possible, but there was a little bit of a motorcade coming up here. It's election time, as everyone in TNT knows, and we had 2, one on the way, one coming down, which blocked one side, and then we hit, I think it was around about Goodwood. There was another, I won't say which parties they were. One was a green colour and the other one was red. I think you can make out who we're talking about, but the
well, just to clear that up, the ILP is not taking part in Tobago's election.
Yes,
they're green.
Right. Well, there is a green one here.
Oh.
There is a green colour here, and
I didn't know.
Yeah, the chap has got his office just around the corner from here. Roxburgh, Belgarden, and Delaford is the representative for here. He comes to the cricket, by the way, and he likes his cricket. He's slightly vocal character. Anyway, his party were.
Is it similar to what we're seeing out there?
Going down. It's very similar. Yeah, they could be going head to head here.
Yes.
Anyway, we're about to get back underway after that discussion about who should be in and out. Lazama is on strike, and he gets hold of that one.
Over mid-on, it's going to go into the boundary just about now for 4. And then, of course, as you will well remember, that was a free hit, so he could have chanced his arms. He got 4 runs for it. 13 now without loss.
And the first shot in anger, we could say. There have been a few pushes and around, and then there was this nice straight drive, but that was a full-blooded hit over the top there. Lazama again, as he waits for this next delivery from Ned. Just a minor change in the field. He swept that one. He managed just to parry that one. That was like a goalkeeper stop, wasn't it? Just got his body over it and stopped that from going to the boundary. They came through for 1 run, and at the end of that over, it's 14 for no wicket.
Well, can he break the shackles now? That free hit, sometimes the bowler is on spot and you can't guess where the next run is coming from, and all of a sudden he bowls a delivery that is deemed a no ball because of one extra player outside the 30-yard circle in the power play, and all of a sudden it's a free hit that he's able to slog down the ground for 4. The next delivery timed it beautifully. It was a slog sweep and he was able to get 1. A little better running could have given him 2. So it's 14 at the end of over number 3, and at the moment the Tobago Islanders, they still haven't lost a wicket. They did not maximize the power play as they would have liked.
This is a little bit like playing roulette here, because Stewart has decided that he's going to bowl his second over, and he's thought, okay, if you're not going to score runs, then I'm going to try and stay on and either take wickets or reduce the risk of you putting too many on the board. It's first ball in the over.
Jumps on him a bit, and he pushes it on the offside. Good running though, he gets a quick single. He was coming forward, looking to take Sheldon's advice, getting out for it, jumped on him a bit, but he was able to quickly assess the situation and play accordingly. Now, there's another trend of thought. Stuart probably thinking that after 3 overs they have not enjoyed the power play as Vishal Laman enjoyed his dumpling and stewed chicken this morning in space side. Now Stuart probably thinking to himself, they might take a few chances in this over and he can get a wicket.
That's right, and that's why he stayed on. If you want to go, you go against the top bowler for them. Here comes Stuart again.
Short delivery that doesn't really get up as he anticipated. He was through the shot before the ball came, and it gets a single, so it's a leg by.
Yeah.
So again, testament to your pitch report. Well done, David. Sorry.
I think he does it deliberately, doesn't he?
I want to say good evening to my very dear friend David Brooks out of England. So I have a David Brooks and a Sheldon Brooks.
Here comes Stuart again.
All the time, back off a length, Sheldon.
And when it is, he plays it really comfortably. It's not leaping off the pitch there, is it? And that's why even with someone who's a little bit, zippy and that, you want to be looking to get on the front foot. Anything that pitches up, you don't have to worry about it. You just hit through. That one was just that little bit back of a length, maybe hip height, turned that round and took a comfortable single. They go on to 17 for no wicket. Deems Baird is on strike.
Short bowls, and this is a pitch stop delivery, his very first delivery that he pitches up, and there was Baird playing through the line and down through a long on for 4.
Nice hands there. We were just talking about that, looking for that ball that's in your zone, and he put it there. Look for Stuart just to pull that length back a bit now. No, he decides that he's going to go full.
So he's playing mind games here, Nathan Stewart. Of course, Baird would have expected a short delivery.
I did.
It was pitched up. He lost his shape. He got an outside edge, a very thick and healthy outside edge, and it went down to third man for a single.
Nice and easy shot to go for when there are no slips, no gully. You can free your hands, and even if you do get a big edge, there's no one down there to take that.
This time it's back to regular programming, just back off a length, and that's a quick single again. So this is over number 4 in progress. The score is 22 without loss. Lovely blue skies, and I know blue is your favorite color.
Indeed it is. Yeah. And the nice thing about this is that we had expected poor weather the day before, and so it will be Lizama on strike. Again, just a minor delay whilst we wait for the field to get set. 23 for no wicket after 4 overs. It doesn't look like, total disaster, does it? In the beginning, a few singles here and there, but once you hit a couple of boundaries, things can change very, very quickly. 23 after 4 overs. It's Kent now with his first ball, and he puts that one up there. That's a huge hit. That could be go into our tent? It does indeed. Ronnie could have fielded that one. Just landed at our feet and rolled right into the commentary position.
So something has to happen. It's now 29 without loss, and there was Lizama going for that one inside out over wideish long off for 6 runs, and that one rolled along the ground. This time after going over the ropes, it actually rolled. It stopped 2 meters before Ronnie Bikram Das, and he still failed to stop it, to field it.
That one hit out into the deep at long off. There was a man there, so they just jogged through for a single, and now the scoreboard just has the feel of ticking over nicely.
Well, if I
Too
may
close to
interject,
cut.
it didn't pass me. It stopped at least a meter away from me.
And you still failed to pick up.
Well, I couldn't because there's a table and equipment in front of me.
Ronnie Bikram Das, always a very chirpy and cheeky guy. This is punched away to cover. There is no run.
Yeah, that's a good place to stop there. Jaden Kent is the bowler. A youngster doing a good job here. Just gone for one big hit.
Again, a misfield, and they're able to get one. So at least they're looking for the runs. That was a delivery, again, very close to Baird, and he was able to cut it away. Not really getting the room to maneuver it as he would like, and he gets a single. I want to say a very good afternoon to all our viewers in America, in Fort Lauderdale and Miami, South Florida, even in Orlando, where this coverage is also going via MAQ TV.
Full toss, hit down the ground. They just take one there.
So it's 32 without loss after 5, and time for a strategic timeout. I want to thank I want to thank Sheldon for being with us, as he is going to go across to his other duties, and Visham Shams Lalman, aka Chubby, comes into the commentary position now. Welcome back to the action, and this is over number 6 in progress now. As the little Tobago Islanders, they are 32 without loss, and you can hear the noise in the background. There is some political motorcade passing behind us, and the people in Tobago, they're having a time. This is actually the constituency of Tobago East. This time this is driven down the ground, and they're going to get 1. So 33 now without loss. Let me welcome Bisham Lalman, and let me assure you that after he fell off the bed last night, he's fine.
Pleasant good evening to you, Mr. Mamcham. Pleasant good evening to everyone around the world looking on Cricket 360 MAQ TV to this wonderful tournament and this very interesting game that's happening at the moment. Rainforest Rangers limiting the Little Tobago Islanders thus far. We are into the 6th over. This one is short and outside the off stump, and looking to take that one from outside the off stump and carry it on the leg side. He's looking to manufacture a shot that's not there. The batsman on that occasion, James Baird. The new bowler Shafiq Shepherd here for Rainforest Rangers, and the Birds, they continue to attack these players on the ground here. Slight field change. Third man goes on to the boundary now. The backward square leg fielder, he comes up into the circle. And I must say, very good weather here at the Sid Grace Sporting Complex. Wonderful facility. This one's cut away onto the offside. Will it be out? Yes, it is. That's the first wicket for the Rainforest Rangers. Shafiq Shepherd coming into the attack, continuing to build the pressure for the Rainforest Rangers. And what a wicket that is here for the Rainforest Rangers. James Baird, he has to depart for 10, leaving Lezama at the crease. He's on 19. And I was just about to say that the good thing for Little Tobago Islanders at the halfway mark, they did not lose a wicket, but they had a good platform set. But unfortunate there for James Baird, he has to go back to the pavilion. And Rainforest Rangers, of course, they would be happy to see the back of him. But kudos to James Baird and Leron Lezama. They continue to be a formidable opening partnership, and they set a really good platform for the Little Tobago Islanders to launch later on in the innings, despite having that bad performance in the second game. And Leron Lezama, he'll have a lot on his shoulders here this evening again. They seem to depend on the captain quite a lot here as the Little Tobago Islanders. Coming to the crease now is the big man, Adrian Alexander. Had a good tournament thus far with the ball, I can tell you that. See how if he can support his captain here at the crease. One is full, and looking to play that one onto the offside there was Lezama, taking the inner half of the bat, and good fielding there by the bowler of his own bowling. The Rainforest Rangers, their spirits are up despite the sun being out here. And but with the sun being out as well, there is that odd cool breeze that is blowing around the ground, so that will offer some comfort to the players. This one is hoisted away onto the onside. Will this be out? Just bursting through the hands of the fielder there, and he allowed it to go for 4 as well. So a disappointing end to the over here for Shafiq Shepherd. In fact, it's not the end of the over, but a chance for Lezama.
Yes, Lezama should have been back in the pavilion. I thought at this level that catch should have been completed. It was not one of those easy catches, but it should have been completed. I want to say a very special good night to a very dear friend of mine, and of course a sponsor at Cricket 360, Sibkat Sheikh, the owner of Stonehill. You are wearing your Stonehill top at the moment, as this delivery is punched down the ground for 4. So the floodgates are now opened, and there was Lezama cracking it down through the onside into the boundary for 4. Reminds me a lot of Sibkat Sheikh's batting during the World Cup last year. I was very fortunate to visit a couple of his games where he plays in the Surrey 2nd Division League. And his team, they did very well on the back of some beautiful innings from him. I remember 55, I remember 77. So he's a very dear friend of mine, and of course the Stonehill gear is a top gear. I would like to see that gear in Tobago. Since we've been sporting the Stonehill tops, I think you've gotten a few questions about your top, haven't you, Bisham?
Actually, I don't have any questions about my top, but I think it's really great quality. I can assure you that.
Yes, I'm speaking about the young man who wanted to take your top off you yesterday.
Yes, that guy, he loved how the top is looking, and he was very interested. I thought that you can give him one of our Cricket 360 tops.
Well, one hopes that he's interested in the top and not you. Score is 41 for the loss of 1. Again, good night to CB Sheikh out there in Surrey, England. Very dear friend of mine. And probably we can look to get his product into Tobago soon. This time he's down the track and he's able to get one there. And Alexander. The score goes on to 42 for 1. So what you've seen here, this is over 7 in progress. They've kept a tight lid on proceedings. Has it been as tight as the economy here in Tobago?
Oh, yes, definitely. Good work being done by the bowlers and the fielders supporting the bowlers and their captain as well, Nathan Stewart. And kudos to him for what he's done thus far with this team. Yeah. Now, speaking about Stonehill and getting it to Tobago, why not get it up to George Village?
Yes. Stonehill is for cricketers. This is whipped away through the onside, and then they're going to get 1. They think about 2. They're not going to come back. But on that occasion, the delivery pitched up and worked through the onside. And again, as I said at the toss, batting on this track is not the easiest thing in the world. It's not dreaded. I wouldn't say that there are devils in the track. But what I will say, though, it's not ideal for quick scoring. This delivery forced away on the offside. The batsmen, they're not getting the ball coming onto the bat like they would like. Because again, if we may go back, just for our viewers who are now listening, this is in a floodplain.
Yeah.
We're at the base of the rainforest here in Tobago. It's a protected rainforest, as this delivery is worked away down to long off by Elizama for 1. So it's a protected rainforest. I think it's the oldest rainforest reserve in the Western Hemisphere, if my history is right, which more often than not it is. But then the water level here is pretty high, hence drainage around the pitches and the pitch area is not of the best. And it's nothing really that the authorities could do to prevent that, because remember, just behind the walls on the eastern side is the sea.
Yes, and remember there's also the artesian well in the car park of the Sid Gray Sporting Complex.
This time it's just lapped away around the corner awkwardly. It's not a shot that you would want to invite your child, your schoolboy cricketer to see. It was not pretty. It was not graceful.
Well, everything needs to be pretty to be effective, Mr. Mamchan.
Short. Again, not really given the room to play the shot, but Lizama gets it away on the offside. Given the nature of this track, I think a total of 85 could be competitive.
Yes, well, I think the way in which the batsmen are playing, it's definitely showing that they are seeing some problems out there in the middle. Yeah, I think around 80-85 thereof will be a good total on this track, and I think that they may be able, saying that the Rainforest Rangers cannot get a total like that, but yes, well, that was culture-filled Tobago in that at the end. Beautiful place indeed.
You did experience Speyside this morning. It's just about 20 minutes to the east of where we are at Roxborough. You did enjoy the fair up there, didn't you?
Yes, definitely some beautiful scenes there heading up the mountains. Was able to get a couple pictures as well.
This time this is a struck away. He could be in trouble. The catch is taken, and that's the end of Lizama for 30, and the score is now 47 for 2. A delivery outside the off stump. He was looking to carve it away through the offside, and again he didn't get. He got underneath it, but he didn't get the distance. He got the height, but not the distance.
Yes, very unfortunate dismissal there for Leron Lezama. Timely wicket for the Rainforest Rangers, and this was all brought about by the pressure being built up by the bowlers of the Rainforest Rangers as well. I think they will be very happy to see Leron Lezama walking back to the pavilion. It's all up on the lower order here now, so to speak, because this was the man who really does the job for them at the top of the order. Yes, he had a good knock of 30 out of the 47 made thus far, but it will really take some doing here now to get them up to a respectable total.
So Reed is the new batsman, and it's going to be Orlando James, who just picked up his 4th wicket in the tournament, and Lezama was the man dismissed. He got a half century in the first game. He got 15 last night and 30 today. Not a bad return by the skipper.
Yes, definitely. He's been having good form throughout this tournament. He'll want to keep up that. A very weird stance here by Reed.
Well, it's a weird stance. It's a crab-like stand, but he's able to effectively put the ball away. Gets a single though, trudges down to the other end. As you were saying earlier on, you don't have to be pretty to be effective.
Actually, that wasn't Reed. That was Adrian Alexander. Speaking of crab,
sorry.
I think I need to get some crab and dumpling before leaving Tobago.
Yes. I think Sheldon Rooks is going to arrange that for you at some point in time. Good old Sheldon. So here's James. Reed muscles this through the offside. It's running away. It should get into the boundary, and it does so. Now, given the width, and he was just able to take his hands through the shot and into the boundary for 4. So that's the half century. The half century has come up. It's now 52 for 2. Remember, this is over number 8. So far, so good for the Rangers.
Yes, and Reed getting off the mark with a boundary as well. What was spectacular about the shot was that he wasn't looking to hit it into the air, but he kept it down and through the gap as well.
Well, this delivery, he tries to repeat the shot, but that one was pitched up a little closer to him, and it beats the outside edge into the gloves of the wicketkeeper. As I said before, lovely weather. Imagine that we were under a storm watch just a day ago, and it hasn't affected the cricket at all. It's outside the off stump by James. So James is going to look, well, he's tinkering with that line just outside the off stump, and the umpire has had enough of it. He has now signaled a wide. The score is 53 for 2. So Reed. Wonderful tournament so far. Well organized. This time he cracks it over cover, and that's 6 runs. Over extra cover to be exact. A delivery pitched up, but he was given width. Now, I understand what the young man is trying to do. James is trying to go full and wide, or back of a length and wide. He went back of a length and wide in the over. That's not recommended. And he was cracked through the offside. On that occasion, he went full and wide, which is recommended at the back end of the innings. But the eagle eyes of Reed, he read that well.
Yes, definitely. A la Dwayne Bravo on that occasion. Dwayne Bravo is a man who loves that shot over cover. And Reed as well coming to the wicket, already being able to hit a 4 and a 6, proving to be very dangerous here towards the Rainforest Rangers. As well, many captains and bowlers tend to think that get a batsman out, you need to feed him to his strengths. And remember back then when Australia were playing West Indies, they fed Brian Lara to his strengths. And
well, he's bowled him, has he?
Oh yeah.
This was a free hit, no ball. The previous delivery that was cracked away for 6, and he was bowled. Well, I didn't pick up the free hit signal, but he was shattered there. And James probably bowling the best ball he can bowl for a free hit.
Yes, we're lining up that one on the stumps, and normally they say when you miss, I hit. And on that occasion, yes, he hit the stumps, but unfortunately for him, it was a free hit. And that one was tugged onto the outside, looking for 2 here is Reed, and he will get it quite easily in the end. Very stifled appeal there by the Rainforest Rangers. An attempt to pick up another wicket, but that brings the 8th over to an end. The lower Little Tobago Islanders 62 for 2. Welcome back as we are about to start the 9th over of the first innings here of day 3 of the Chief Secretary's Bago T10 Blast. And at the moment, 62 for 2, Little Tobago Islanders, 2 wickets to go. Dames Baird for 10 and Liron Lezama for 30. And had a good opening partnership of 31 before the fall of Dames Baird's wicket actually. And we are now seeing Adrian Alexander, the left-hander, and Reed, right-hander. He is on 12, Alexander on 4. And we're now seeing a new bowler coming to the bowling crease as well. It seems to be Alwyn Daniel. Shafiq Shepherd. It's actually Shafiq Shepherd. So he is actually swapping ends now. He's coming to the Rainforest end. He's going to be bowling to Alexander. This one is short and a French cut there. Inside edge, running very close to the fine leg boundary. The backward square leg fielder comes around and he's been able to limit them to a single. Which brings a Reed onto the strike now. Hit a couple lusty blows in the last over. Rainforest Rangers, they would hope that they can keep the good job up here. Those a couple boundaries in that last over, maybe just taking their approach changed a bit. Now we are seeing a field change here. The long on fielder, he comes up on the circle. This one is full and getting some extra bounce on that occasion, but in the end they will get a leg by. The umpire just warning Reed that he needs to run off the pitch rather than in line with the stumps, the danger area as they normally say. So not a field change being employed here by the captain, Navin Stewart. The deep extra cover fielder, he comes into the circle and the mid-wicket fielder goes back onto the boundary. So maybe it's a plan here by the Rainforest Rangers to bowl towards Adrian Alexander. This one a short pull away onto the onside. The mid-wicket fielder there, a slight misfield and allowing the batsman there to get through for a single in the end. Tell you what, had he picked up that ball cleanly, could have been some problems there for Adrian Alexander.
So, over number 9, and still in control here, the Rainforest Rangers. They'll be looking to restrict them to probably around 80, which is a total that they should be able to get. Let's see what Shepherd has to offer. This is whipped away down behind square. There's a protection on the boundary, and we're seeing that good old-fashioned long barrier that Shaquille the Barrel John uses to wicket keep. I can't understand it. You normally employ that in the outfield.
Actually uses a couple sheets of galvanized in the back when he is wicket keeping.
So he has a very, when Shaquille John is wicket keeping, he has a very fine third man, a very fine leg, a barrel behind him, 2 sheets of galvanized, rusty ones at that, and still the ball goes for 4 byes.
That's the man himself, Shaquille Barrel John.
So 66 for 2. Here's Shepherd.
Oh.
Alexander just squirts it out on the offside. You can see on that occasion Alexander taking pace off the ball, and he was able to just play it away on the offside for 1. So far, so good from Shepherd.
Yes, that's what was really key with the Rainforest Rangers as well. Their bowlers, they were able to vary their pace, their line and lengths as well, and not try too much, but just keep the basics and apply their trade. There's another captain just making sure everything is good there with the bowler and his fielders. Sometimes you just need to take that time to settle your fielders and get everything right before the ball is bowled. So here's Shepherd once more. This one is full and down the leg side, and that will be another wide. But I must say, ground staff has prepared 2 good pitches here so far for the tournament. Yes, it's been a bit low and slow and inconsistent, but tell you what, today we've seen a better pitch than the last 2 days.
Yes, we definitely have, and probably the sun that is belting down at the moment will be able to try it off a little better. So I think that the Rainforest Rangers may well have it a little easier. This time he's bowled. Reed losing his shape, looking to pull that one some way over mid-wicket. He lost his shape, he lost sight of it, and he has been castled. 66 for 3 and 68 for 3. The Rainforest Rangers continues to take wickets at crucial intervals.
Yes, definitely they are. And yes, Reed, he came to the wicket. Yes, he had a couple of boundaries for the Little Tobago Islanders, but he came out swinging and wasn't looking to play the ball on its merit. And that ball was on the stumps, looking to play across the line, and in the end that proved to be his demise. So quick fire 12 from Reed, and now we are seeing Davis. He is going to join Adrian Alexander at the crease. These 2 guys looks as though as they can hit a long ball, but it's left to be seen here. The final over here now for the Little Tobago Islanders to utilize to see if they can get up to that respectable total of 80-85 thereof that Mr. Mamchan mentioned. 7 wickets in hand, of course, so they can use that at an advantage. But again, the bowling of the Rainforest Rangers has been quite exceptional.
So just the 1 over to go. I think Nevin Stewart will be very happy with the effort of his team. And it's going to be Lynn to bowl the final over.
Well, speaking about setting the example as well, Mr. Mamchan, I must say kudos to the captains, Leron Lezama and Nevin Stewart. They arrived at the ground very early, helping the youngsters of their team and get prepared for the game today. And that's really good to see from the senior men.
Here's a Lynn. And this is whipped away. It's in the air and he gets he's dropped it. A sitter. That would have given young James his 5th wicket of the tournament, but it was not to be. It was actually a sitter. That delivery went across the left-hander, and he was looking to play it on the onside. Alexander. It went on the off. It spooned in the air, and the catch was not completed.
Well, that's a poor miss there by Ezekiel Joe Field. As that fielder, he's a young man. You got to feel for him as well. He's on the ground at the moment. Seems to have done some damage to his hand there after dropping that catch. He's got his hand on the ground now as though he's in some real pain here, Ezekiel Joe Field. One would hope that he'll be back up soon and he's okay. Yes, a couple of teammates around him now looking to lend some support. Now he's getting back up. So he's on his feet here, Joe Field, and He's still in some pain here. Sorry, and some assistance. Actually, it's a substitute fielder coming out here now for Joe Field. So he's gonna head off the field now. There's 5 deliveries remaining in the over. The final over of the first innings of the game here between the Rainforest Rangers and the Little Tobago Islanders. Remember, the Rainforest Rangers, they elected to bowl first, and the Little Tobago Islanders, at their turn in the crease, they are 69 for 3 at the moment. Leron Lezama, Reed, and Dames Baird, they are all back in the shed for 15, 30, and 12 respectively.
So 69 for the loss of 3. It's James again, and the Reed can't put it away. They're going to get a leg binds. The wicketkeeper flicks it, looking to effect a run out. It went over the stumps, and Davis was able to get in. 70 for 3. So just a few deliveries to go, and you want to finish strongly here.
Yes, and so it's a good effort from the wicketkeeper to get to that ball. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to see the run out, but of course he is. What was key here for the Little Tobago Islanders is that Alexander, he's on strike now. He's seen a couple of deliveries out there in the middle. He's been familiar with how the pitch is playing as well, and now it's up to him to hit a couple of balls out of the park.
Well, he's what James should look to do is to go back of a length and try to angle it across him. Let him fetch it or go full and wide. He has a wide open stance, a 2-wide stance. And if he can go full and wide, he's going to be very difficult to impart power onto it. And that is exactly what he does. Lovely bowling by the young man. In fact, the umpire calls it wide. James looks at him, and I think he's right to be disappointed on that occasion. I thought the umpire was very harsh with the young man.
Yes, definitely. I think that was a good delivery, a fair delivery by the young man. And but again, the umpire is in the best position to make the decision.
Sometimes I wonder. Here is James. And at this time, the delivery doesn't come up again. The lack of pace, and he gets it for one down behind square. And that one, in fact, down to deep mid wicket. And the score goes on now to 72 for 3.
And as the sun goes down, the run rate of the Little Tobago Islanders goes down as well. And they really need some big shots here from these two players out there in the middle. 3 deliveries remaining. Davis on strike.
This time outside the off stump, and a swing and a miss.
So they are just swinging wildly here, the Little Tobago Islanders, rather than working along. You're already 72 for 3. Yes, if you get a couple maximums, it will be vital here. But it's good deliveries being bowled by the bowler. No need to manufacture any shots. Use what is presented and look to get some easy runs.
It's short and pulled away down behind square. He should only get one. There's a misfield, but the fielder, what he did, the right thing that he did there was to get his body behind the ball, so the ricochet actually went into his chest and presented the ball right in front of him, and they were able to get the single. 73 for the loss of 3. 2 deliveries to go, or is it 1? 1 delivery to go, and it's going to be James, who has done a good job, the young man, the 16-year-old. This time he carves it over the offside, and this is going to be a magnificent attempt at a catch. It would have been one of the greatest that we would have seen, and they're able to come back for 2. Do they? 1. So it's 2. It's 75 for 3, and that should be the final score here. And I think the Rainforest Rangers would be happy with that. 75 for 3, and that's the score here at the break. After more comments from you, Visham, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Yes, well, I think it's a good challenge here for the Rainforest Rangers as well with that 75 with the way in which the pitch is playing. Well, actually, the little the big one showed that the pitch is playing a bit too pace. But again, with the batting of Nevin Stewart leading the way for the Rainforest Rangers, let's see if they can get that target come the second innings. Until then, see you soon for continued coverage. Sporting Complex for the second innings of match 1 of day 3. So welcome back to the resumption of play here in the second innings of match 1 of day 3 here of the Chief Secretary's Bago T10 Blast. And the Rainforest Rangers, they will be needing 76 runs for victory. And after the Little Tobago Islanders, they were limited to 75 for 3 in their 10 overs. And after good work from the Rainforest Rangers bowlers and good captaincy as well from their skipper Nathan Stewart. So seems as though Sharp, he will be opening the bowling for Little Tobago Islanders alongside me, Mr. Sheldon Rooks. Good evening.
Right, just enough time. Good evening. Just enough time to run through the card. Nevin Stewart, Ansel Ned, Orlando James, Addison Daniel, Josh Telemark, Jaden Kent, Davril McPherson, Kevin Lamont, Ezekiel Jofil, Kevin Samuel, and Shafiq Shepherd.
It's a good-looking side there for the Little Tobago Islanders. Well, want a good start here from Sharp because not a total of any big stature for the Rainforest Rangers.
Sharp has been surprisingly tricky at times to deal with as he comes up with the first delivery outside the off stump and the batsman leaves that alone. Orlando James having a bit of a look at that one.
He doesn't have as much pace as Sharp, but what he will need is accuracy here this evening.
Yeah, he just mixes it up, doesn't he? A little bit of dibbly-dobbly, they call that. Oh, it looks as though he threw that one. Maybe it was our camera angle. Sorry. No, really, I'm going to have a look at the next delivery and you can look at it too from that angle and see what you think. Yeah. I don't want to damage anyone or say anything untoward, but just had that suspicion. Maybe that's his quicker ball.
That
Anyway.
one certainly took off. It took the outside edge of the
take a
bat
look.
as well.
Ah, that looks okay. Sorry.
So it's cut away onto the offside, and an easy single there for James. So they're off the mark here now with the Rainforest Rangers. They are keeping things quiet. Only 3 deliveries bowled. But again, the score is not that big, so they can afford to relax at the start. Sometimes you would say that, but it's all how it goes out there in the middle, Mr. Rooks.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the important thing here for the Rangers. They don't need to put the foot to the pedal too quickly. Here's Sharp again. Yeah, that one went straight to the man at square leg, so no run taken.
And I think the important thing here for both James and Nathan Stewart, they wouldn't want to lose any wickets early on in the piece. James, you just need to rotate the strike, get Nathan onto the strike. This one is hoisted into the offside, and will that run into the boundary? It may very well do so. And yes, that seems to be the first boundary. No, it's not. So Nathan Stewart, he's off the mark. He's gone through for a single.
Yeah, it's just slowed up a little bit, and I think yesterday and the day before definitely that would have gone for 4. But they haven't had, they haven't had the outfield cut. They'll probably do that tomorrow, else we'll be a jungle out here.
Well, there is the rainforest at the back. You don't want the ground getting like that.
It does look a little full, doesn't it, the outfield, and it could do with a nice cutting.
Getting everything right here in the field now, the captain Lezama. Low on fielder Peter just coming a bit straighter. Is sharp again. This one is full on. Down the ground there was James, but to that mid-off fielder straight to him, it was hit hard, so he wasn't able to scamper through for any single. So that brings the first over to an end. It's 2 without loss here. The Rainforest Rangers in an attempt to get 76 for victory.
Well, let's see who it is that they're going to go to for over number 2. Glennon Sharp came away with just the 2 runs coming off that. He should be happy with that. I'd be delighted with that. Light's just getting underway here. Haven't quite yet come into full force, but it won't be long now. 10 past 6, by 6:30 they'll be in full operation. Right down at the river end, making his mark is Adrian Alexander, or Timmy. He's about to bowl over number 2.
Yes, well, he was there to the end in the batting, and now he's there at the start in the bowling. Let's see if Adrian Alexander can pick up the crucial wicket of Nathan Stewart here at the start of his over. It'll take some doing here. The left-handed. Oh, and a false start there from Alexander. Probably things didn't feel as right as he would like.
Yeah, a little bit of gamesmanship there, seeing where the batsman was going to go.
This one is taking him over that backward square leg fielder there, and that one runs into the boundary for 1 bounce into the boundary. That's a good looking shot there, Mr. Rooks.
Yeah, down on one knee, safe shot. There's no man out there as well. Once that cleared the infield, that was it.
Yes, and that's good signs there for the Rainforest Rangers as well. Nathan Stewart getting his first boundary and getting back on track here, carrying on his good form from yesterday and a couple of days back as well. Ready 100, and this one again is played onto the offside, straight back down the ground. That'll go for 6 this time. Maximum rewards on this occasion there from Nathan Stewart. A 4 and a 6 there, consecutive boundaries for him. That takes his tally up to 11 and the score 12 without loss.
Well, the danger is apparent to everyone. I think it's not a big total from the Islanders, so Rangers with a few big overs could put this away fairly quickly. This is the lowest total that we've had so far, and Rangers look well on course for finishing this off early.
Yes, certainly, Mr. Rooks, and change of angle here from Alexander, and Fruit's been prepared early on here for Alexander, changing at ends, coming over the wicket on that occasion, looking to angle the ball across Nathan Stewart, with the ball turning away from him as well. This one is played back down the ground. Will it go for 4? The fielder diving across to his left there from Laon, and limiting them to a single.
That was a good stop. Put his body in the way of that, got his hands to it. That was a good effort. 13 now for no wicket.
What would be key here for the Little Tobago Islanders is dot balls and being able to pick up wickets, and early wickets, I should say. Here's Alexander. This one's a full pitch delivery, and a very lucky day for James that that one didn't go back onto the stumps.
Yeah, I think the only hope that the Islanders have is to take wickets and bowl
Yeah.
them out, because if they stick around for their full quota of overs, they're going to score the runs, especially at this rate.
Certainly, this one is short and pulled away by James, and it can only go down to the long fielder for a single. So James, he moves on to 2, and the score 14 without loss at the end of 2 overs.
Simmons Peters is making his way down to the boundary. He's been pushed from one end to the other.
Yeah.
Took a couple of catches yesterday, put one down, but I think they fancy that if there's someone in the deep that they want to go to, it's Peters.
This one is full hit back down the ground there, and a very unusual stop there from the middle fielder. And seems to be a dot delivery there from Sharp. Yes, Peters, he had a fair tournament thus far. He had some mishaps in the field, but he's a good fielder, I must say. This one again, a short pull away by Orlando James, but attempt to pull that one away onto the onside, but going back to that middle fielder in the end. So 2 dot deliveries here for Sharp. How vital is that?
Well, you want to slow them down, but the thing is, the batting side realise that they've got plenty of time. There's no panic here.
And again, it's stopped onto the onside. Chance for out here of Nathan Stewart.
Oh, direct hit.
Is he out here? The umpire is unmoved at this point. So not out, says the umpire. Very interesting indeed here, Mr. Rooks.
Well, I think we've got a good angle. So it looked as though he'd made his ground. Yeah, he's made it. There's no problem there. A little bit of a panic, but not really necessary.
Yes, Nathan Stewart leaving home a bit early on that occasion. And getting back on time.
Direct hit side on as well.
Yes,
It was
only
good
one stump
work.
to aim at.
Yeah, good work. There comes Sharp again. He stops in his run-up. James settles over his bat as Sharp bowls.
So Sharp seems to be a bit deceptive with his pace. Some of his deliveries tend to be a bit slow, but some actually rushing the batsmen on some occasions.
Yeah, just it's all in the arm and the shoulder, isn't it? He just ambles in there and then whips his arm over.
He is again Sharp, pulled
Yeah,
away.
that was slower.
But going straight down the ground to long one. Peters has to do the work, and he cleans up nicely in the end, limiting James to a single. So 16 without loss here.
And again, it's the second one that I've had a look at, and it's not the most attractive of actions, is it, to be honest? Sorry, Glennon, but just something about it that is not 100%.
Yes. But most of his deliveries, he tends to be bowling them, so just needs to work on that odd delivery. Here he is again, edged away and past the diving wicketskeeper there of the Little Tobago Islanders, and runs into the third man boundary for 4. And 20 without loss here, and we are at the end of the third over. Mr. Rooks, what do you make of this start here by the Rainforest Rangers?
Yeah, it was a desperate dive there from the keeper, who is still on the ground. Maybe he landed heavily. But 19, I don't think there's any panic here. You know that a couple of big overs from the Rangers will do it. There just isn't enough on the board to hold a team with that kind of firepower.
Well, one would hope that the wicketkeeper is okay, because remember in the test match earlier today, West Indies versus England, Shane Dorrit, he was injured after missing a delivery from Shannon Gabriel when he was wicketkeeping, and that crashed into his face, and in the end Joshua De Silva, he had to come and take up the gloves. So one would hope that the wicketkeeper here for the Little Tobago Islanders, that he is okay.
De Silva has played at this ground. He played in the North Zone versus Tobago game about a year and a half ago, and he scored 130 odd. A really good knock up here.
Yes, De Silva is an excellent player. We'd like to see him make his test debut very soon. And he, very interestingly, he has his first test catch today in the test match as well.
As a sub.
Yep, that's right. Let's mention that. But Adrian Alexander is going to continue from the river end here at the Sid Grace Sporting Complex.
Went for 12 in his first over. See if he can tidy things up here. They may target him again.
Well, Sharp left the bowling crease, and a sharp man came to sit next to us here, Mr. Vinod Mamchan. One from Alexander just outside the off stump and beating the outside edge of the bat of James. The young man, he needs to get some runs to build his confidence here. He didn't have the best of starts thus far, but he has a good partner on the other end, as this one is punched onto the offside. So some pressure building up, or is the Rainforest Rangers in a good position?
Well, it's nice when you can get bat on ball. It's unfortunate when it goes straight to hand, but there's nothing you can do about that. You have to be a little bit inventive and find the gaps. There's no run there, and Alexander fields off his own bowling. So 3-dot balls then from Timmy.
Finding some gold here, the Little Tobago Islanders. 3-dot balls already in this over Adrian Alexander. See if he can continue that good work here with the ball. And this one is pulled away onto the onside. That will run into the boundary there, hitting the beige wall in between the Digicel windbreaker flag there. Mr. Rooks, that's a good looking shot from young Orlando James.
Yeah, and all of a sudden the shape of the scoreboard changes because the run rate is not big, and they are, you know, just slightly behind it at the moment. So no panic. Good looking shot, as you say. Yeah.
Yes, he saw the length early, and he was able to put that one away to the boundary. Vital boundary there for the Rainforest Rangers. We're into the fourth over, remember, 23 for no loss. This one again, and he's gone, is he? Yes, he is. Orlando James looking to cut that one into the offside, and those few dot deliveries at the start of the over. Yes, he got a boundary in the last delivery, but the pressure again there on the young Orlando James proving to be his demise.
Yeah, and the first few shots that he had played, after the 4, he could have punched that back. But he, as you say, he looked to cut that away a little bit too close to him, and it was well taken by the keeper. Always difficult to take when you're standing up and someone has a flash and it can come onto you very, very quickly. And that was well held.
Well, we were wondering if the wicketkeeper is okay. Well, I can definitely tell you that he is after taking that catch. Joining Nevin Stewart now is Samuel. Remember, he had 2 good cameos of 20 in the last game with Nevin Stewart. That's actually last night when they brought home that game for the Rainforest Rangers. So 2 men here who are in form for the Rainforest Rangers.
Yeah, Kevon Samuel just taking guard. Stewart's not going to be at all worried about the situation. 23 for the loss of 1 wicket. Again, no panic needed.
That seems to be the Chinaman delivery there from Adrian Alexander to finish the 4th over for the Little Tobago Islanders Rainforest Rangers. They are 23 for 1.
Yeah, if you come away having bowled your 2 overs, you go for 16 runs. I think that's probably as much as you want to go for, and still be able to say I did a reasonable job. Don't want to be too expensive, and you can't expect to come away for having only going for 5 or 6. That would be pretty spectacular.
Yes, definitely, and they are just slightly under the required run rate. A bit here is the Little Tobago Islanders. They are scoring at 5.75 per over at the moment, and the required run rate is 8.83. So they will want to get that run rate up a bit, but the key thing for them, they have 9 wickets in hand, 6 overs remaining to get another 53 runs.
Yeah, 2 big overs, and then you're back into it. So it's Joshua Stewart now who prepares to bowl. He'll be bowling to Nathan Stewart, who is on 16. It's 23 for 1 after 4 overs. Here's Stewart to Stewart.
That's definitely seems to be a wide here. And yes, it is wide signal by the umpire. Normally Joshua Stewart, he opens the bowling for Little Tobago Islanders, but changing things here a bit was the captain Lezama, and now Stewart coming in the 5th over.
We said yesterday, didn't we, that extras and saving runs in the field was vital.
That one is clipped away off the hips from Nathan Stewart and runs into the fine leg boundary for 4. A really good looking shot there from Nathan Stewart.
Well, he's a class player, and that is an area that he can exploit if given the opportunity, and that was right in his spot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just stepped across the stumps there and helped it around.
And no real pace there from Joshua Stewart offered. So he kept on the back foot there, and Nathan Stewart waited on that delivery, and he had enough time to turn around, guide that to the boundary. So there's some support from Little Tobago Islanders. Yeah, not real energy in the field from them. You'd want to see that. But such a little, this one is pulled into the air, and that goes all the way for 6 there. Another huge hit from Nathan Stewart. That goes into the pavilion, Mr. Rooks.
Yeah, he was onto that very quickly. A short ball just banged in there, didn't get up, 1 step back, and he helped that over the boundary for 6.
Yes, again, short from Joshua Stewart. He's not finding his line and his length early. You only got 2 overs in a T10 game to settle, and you need to be good at the start of your spell. Here he is again, Joshua Stewart. This one is full. Looking to play that one straight back down the ground. But again, the inside edge comes into play here, and Stewart is able to get a single. 35 for 1 now, the Rainforest Rangers.
Yes, Stewart has gone for 12 so far. This is going to be a little bit ugly, I'm afraid.
Nathan Stewart continues to pile on the runs in this tournament.
Now it's
excellent player, experienced player, played in England, played the ATL Champions League in India with the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force team, and in the US Open as well. Now he's playing for the Rainforest Rangers right in his home ground in Roxborough.
Yeah, a little push there to the man up backward point as they not steal a single, but they really amble a single, don't they? They know there was no chance of a run out there. Nice and comfortable. Kevon Samuel just rotating the strike and bringing the form man, the Rangers skipper, back on strike. No, not quite ready yet.
That's a halt in the run-up there of Joshua Stewart, making things right here. So here's Stewart, to Nathan Stewart. That one is crunched through the offside. Beautiful shot indeed, classy as well.
Alexander throwing his body behind that one.
Thought that shot deserved more runs there, Mr. Rooks. Only able to get a single, but they are in control of things at the moment, the Rainforest Rangers, led by their captain, Nathan Stewart. One again is full on, just beating the outside edge, and a lone appeal there from the fielders. And not out, says the umpire. So at the end of 5 overs, Mr. Rooks, Rainforest Rangers 37 for 1.
Yeah, it's a shame when the total is not as challenging as one would like, because you just get the feeling that it's a matter of time before they overhaul it. It would take something pretty special And the only thing that can really do it is the fall of wickets, because I can't see Samuel and Stewart just trying to stroll to it. They've got some big hits there, and it's only a matter of time.
Yes, well, it's now time for a strategic timeout. We'll take a short break and be back very soon.
Well, welcome back. It's 37 for 1. So still in the game, still well in the game, the little Tobago Islanders, and they've done well with the ball as well. We said at the toss that at the pitch report, it's going to be difficult. Stewart, it is. That's another maximum. That is 14th. If it's his second tonight, it's his 14th. And there it goes over the wall. So that's 6 more. The score is 43 for 1. I say welcome back, my good friend Sheldon Rooks, who just came back after relieving himself of
relieve myself of a drink.
This time he works it away. That's 4. Just pulls up before the line, and they come back for 2.
Yeah, I don't know how whether it's picky or not, but I like to see the outfield a little bit, cut a little bit, and it hasn't been. It's just slowing up when that should have been 4. Normally, that strong a hit off the edge goes for 4.
Well, it's a bit heavy,
Yeah.
I dare say.
Yeah.
And it probably needs the heavy roller after being cut. On that note, how is O'Choy Charles these days?
I have no idea.
Score is 45 for 1. In fact, 46. Stewart gets 1 more. So he goes on now to 37. This time Samuels is back. So the Stewart-Samuel combination is at it again.
Again, yeah, and they look comfortable, don't they? That little punch up the ground there from Samuel rotates the strike, brings the form player Stewart back on strike. He's on 37.
It's a good delivery. Squeezed away on the offside.
And going in at the pads as well, dying to his feet.
Yep.
Good ball.
In. So it's a Raheem Cornwall type delivery, bowling off his shoulders. Just 2 steps. Stewart is on the back foot, looking to force through the offside, and he misses all ends up. So it's the end of the over, the end of a good over, yes, for the Rangers. They got 10 runs in it. The score is 47 for 1. Remember, the target is 76. And from my very limited knowledge of mathematics, it tells me 29 required of 4.
No, your colleague next to you is a terrific mathematician. We saw him working out all his sums earlier on, didn't we? Longhand.
Yeah, he needs a lot of paper.
It's funny, isn't it? Because 10 and over, that would, in some of the matches, have not been a bad over for the bowling team. But if you've got such a low total on, you can't afford to be giving that away. You do have to try and pull them back.
7.5. That's the required rate at the moment.
I think it's wickets they need. Desperate for wickets.
As you can see, just on the western side, there is a boat. Is that a boat being carried away?
Yeah, we're right alongside the ocean here, so everything has to do with the ocean and fishing and things. Here's the next delivery.
It's lovely indeed. This time Stuart is off the back foot, crashes it down to the sweeper's position, and he's going to get 1.
That's
so he's
Alexander.
doing an excellent job. He is on 38, and it's a no ball as well. So that takes the score to 39. It's going to be a free hit.
Oh dear.
I'll offer you something sweet.
Oh dear. That's not what the Islanders needed. Stuart beginning to eye up the whole of the Sid Gray ground now. Where is this going to go?
I think he's eyeing the gas station, which is outside of the ground. And he cracks this away. That's a huge hit, and it goes just short of the gas station. It crashes into the wall, and there is a vehicle that's parked right there. It went just to the right of it, of the vehicle, and very close to the gas station, as we predicted. That takes the score along now to, is that the half century? No, it's 40.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
55 for 1.
Oh, for the team. Sorry,
and he's
yes.
on 43.
Well, people are leaving the venue to park their cars somewhere else now, because Nathan Stewart's still got a bit of hitting to do, and they realise that there are a few of them in danger. That was Marvin. Little Marvin was running out there to go and park his car somewhere else.
This time outside the off stump, and Stewart looking to drive with no feet.
Just all hands in that one. Reed it is who's got the job of trying to keep Nathan Stewart in check. Tough ask.
And I've got the job of trying to keep you in check. This time this is played away behind square, and they're going to go back for 2 easily.
I think that's a leg by.
Yes.
Didn't quite get anything on it. Let's have a look and see what the umpire does. He balances really nicely there and taps away at his knee. He can't quite make it down any further to his leg, but that's a signal for a leg by. Okay. Board
So
keeps going.
Yep. 57 for 1. Taps it gently, doesn't he? This time he drives up in the air. It should drop safely, and they take 1 more. So Nathan Stewart has made up his mind, and he wants to end this in a blaze of glory.
Oh, 58 for 1 now. Really closing in very quickly on that target. Only need 5 and over.
Yep, just 18th to reach there.
Now Samuel just doing what he does best in this situation. Punch down the ground for 1. Okay, so they've turned it over. It'll be Stewart who's now counting where the fielders are, looking for the gaps. .44 Stewart is on to face the last ball of Elon Reed's over. Here he comes now.
Again, Stewart understanding the situation. No risky shots needed. It's a walk in the park on the Sunday afternoon. And he's doing exactly that. The score is now 16 to get, and all of 3 overs to get it.
If we could say which of the games didn't really, hit the highlights, once the score is, under par, it's going to be a little bit tricky. You would have had to have had a whole host of wickets falling, and then you would have had some tension. The steam has just been taken out of this one, not just because the Islanders only managed to come up with 75, but it's the ease with which the Rangers have been able to knock the ball around, and Stewart has looked so composed for the 3rd time.
They have been beaten by experience, and this is what Stewart has brought to the party. And there's the boat. It's now coming off the lift. Is that a high up?
Not quite sure what that is.
Down the
That
leg
looks
side.
leg side, yeah. And it is called wide. This time this is driven away, and a valiant attempt at taking the catch just inches off the ground, and he just couldn't come up with it. And that's the effort you need in a situation like this. Yeah, it was a good effort actually. It was the athleticism of the fielder that made that into a catch, to be honest.
Well, you'll take tremendous athleticism in getting this. That's Stewart's 50. Nathan Stewart, back-to-back half centuries to follow his 48 in the first game. Nathan Stewart is ruling the roost here in Roxborough.
And doing it really sensibly as well. Nothing, no real risks at all in that. He's looked very, very comfortable. Nice hitting from the home boy. 67 for 1.
So drives a piece of the outer half of the bat, is going to go for 4. Down through backward point, so it's going to be all over very soon. It's the score is now 71 for the loss of 1.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, that there were 3 overs remaining in one of the games when the target was made. Looks as though it's going to be the same sort of finish. I think the Islanders finished their first game with 3 overs to spare. That's likely to be the same thing here tonight. Rangers with only a couple of runs to get, 4 to win.
Samuel pulls down to deep mid wicket, and he gets a single. So the score goes on out to 73. We're 1 hit away, are we?
Adrian Alexander, it is the man out in the deep who ambles in, picks up, returns it. But really the tension has already gone out of this.
Such a crucial victory this will be for the Rangers, because they lost their first game, and they would want to ensure that they don't finish in the last position, because that's the team that goes on. There's the leaders of the pack moves directly into the finals, and there's Stewart bringing the victory.
Celebrating.
Evan Stewart takes 3 runs and brings the victory, and of course the second time he has done it in as many nights here, and Nathan Stewart continues to show his class and caliber here when it comes to cricket in Tobago.
Yeah, that was a composed run chase. It wasn't, of course, the biggest run chase that they've had to chase down, so not really that difficult a task, but it was the composure that I found attractive. That was a nice measured way to go about the business, and I think that, the youngsters in the team can learn so much from that. Remember, Nathan's got a lot of youngsters in that team, so they're sitting back watching this. There was no panic there was no let's blast away and try and crack this very, very quickly. They took their time. It was a measured performance, and once again Nathan Stewart leading from the front as he takes the Rangers over the line, over the Islanders.
Wonderful indeed. And stay with us. We are going to continue coverage here of this Bago T10 series. Congratulations to the Rainforest Rangers and Navin Stewart as they have ran away 9 wicket victors following a 9-wicket victory last night as well. And it's wonderful. They now move to 6 points and they have gone to the top of the standings together with Boca Reef Divers, who also has 6 points. So we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back for game number 2. Ronnie, don't break the stream, man. He just prefers the post. Don't break the stream. Stay with it. Let's leave it because of the match.
Right, we're about to get underway with game 2 in this Chief Secretary's Bago T10 Blast between the Booker Reef Divers and the Fort King George Gunners. I'm just going to go through the card quickly. Jerron Alfred, Freedom McKenna, Akko George, Kwame Thomas, Anthony Providence, Clinton Brooks, Anel Jones, Quinton Brooks, Ashon Pierre, Afiba McKenna and Dwayne Murray. Let's just have a look and see who's opening. It'll be Jerron Alfred to open with Antonio Providence. Dylan it is who will take the first over. Right, difficulty here for the Fort King George Gunners is that having lost their first 2 games, they really have their backs up against the wall here. A third loss will really do for them. Up against the only undefeated team left in the competition, the Booker Reef Divers. So it's Jerron Alfred to face the first ball. Non-striker is Anthony Providence, the older of the 2 provies playing here. And he's got hold of that right away. There's a man underneath that. And he takes it as well.
Well, I thought initially he didn't pick it up. And in the end, when he saw it was coming his direction, he leaped in and he was able to take the catch. And the first wicket falls without a run on the board.
Well, that's amazing, because if ever you needed something to G your team up when your back was against the wall, it's a wicket off the first ball. You couldn't want for a better start. And they take out the top man from the Divers team, Jerron Alfred. The skipper goes first ball. Yeah, there goes the duck man.
Cattell, the duck man.
He is so funny. Oh dear. Really good catch. Looked as though it gotten away from him. To dive full length to haul that in.
Much better now.
Right, so it's Akko George who comes out into the middle. The batsman crossed, so it'll be Anthony Providence on strike. 0 for 1. Or if you're Australian, 1 for 0.
Let's see.
Keishon Dillon it was who took the wicket off the first ball and then a dot. So a good start, just the start that they wanted. Here comes Dillon again.
That one just beating the outside edge of the bat there and running down to that third man field. A chance for an extra run here with an overthrow, but not taken by the Booker Reef Divers. So they'll settle for 1 here now. 1 for 1 at the moment. And with the wicket of the captain Jerron Alfred to fall off the first delivery. 2 for 1, sorry. And that was due to a spectacular catch there from the captain Joshua James. I think that catch would give competition to the catch of Bago George for the catch of the tournament.
You like that? Well, that was down at this end here. Just making sure that the stumps are not going to give us any problems. They were flashing away there for no reason. All these technical things are all well and good when they work.
Bago George, he's going to be facing his first delivery after a wonderful knock last night for the Booker Reef Divers. Of course, getting a half century last night. He's going to be facing up to Dillon. This one again is tucked onto the onside, through the gap there, running away. And a diving piece of effort there from the fielder, running from backward square leg down there. And Bago George, he gets off the mark with a double.
Yeah, that was well placed. There were two men closing in on that, but the length of time that it took to get out there for them to get to the ball, pick up and throw in, that allowed for 2 runs.
Yes, so Bago George, he's looking to continue his form. This one is down the ground there by Bago George. A chance for a run out and a poor throw there from the fielder. I think that if he had a direct hit there, could have been problems there for George.
Yeah, I think a direct hit would have seen him out. Well, they've got to get past that now. Don't worry about that.
George lives to fight another night here today. It's Antonio Providence, another man who's had a good tournament thus far. One shot and pulled away. That's going to go into the boundary for 4. Backward of square leg. That's a magnificent shot there. A la Gordon Greenwich there, Mr. Rooks.
Nice hit. And whatever the nerves were when they lost that first wicket, if this ends up being, 15, 30, 40 for 1, then probably you'll feel a little bit better about it. So no need to panic.
Yes, definitely.
There's a bit of a swing at that one. He doesn't connect and there's no run, and that's the end of the over. So after the first over, the Divers are 9 for 1. Bago George is on 3. Anthony Providence is on 4. The man back in the hutch early, the Diver skipper Jerome Alford, who was caught out in the deep off the very first ball, and you said that was one of the best catches, or was it last night that we saw one of the best catches? Well, which one do you think?
I think it's Bago George last night. I thought that was the better catch of the 2. Yeah.
Okay. Some of the outfielding has been really good though.
Yes.
We've seen a couple put down, but they've always been those really high skying ones.
Yes. And they always say that these catches in the night sky with a white ball coming down is always the most difficult catches in the game. So you got to do well to take those sort of catches. And certainly with a lot of youngsters around this tournament, they are certainly proving to be really good in the field.
Some of those rather annoying birds have left the far end and come down to our end as Providence
there from the
comes into bowl. Sorry. No.
New bowler seems to be Anthony Providence, actually. So a good start for him. A run off this first delivery. But again, spinners are really tying things down in this tournament. They are proving to be the better bowlers in the tournament. Not taking anything away from the medium pacers and the pacers, but the spinners are really doing well. That one was just guided there backward of point, and good running there by the Booker Reef Divers, Bago George and Antonio Providence.
You wonder where the bragging rights are going to go if the brothers have to go head to head as they just did a second ago with that single. Bigger brother Anthony, who's batting at the moment. It's George on strike. The two Provi boys are at that end, only the umpire separating them at the moment. And Antonio's coming around the wicket anyway.
So Ako George facing up to Antonio Providence, and this one has just worked onto the offside. So this is good batting here by these two from the Boca Reef Divers, Mr. Rooks. They are just looking to take those singles early on in the game, knock around those deliveries presented by the Fort King George Gunners after losing that first wicket, of course. So they just need to take their time at the start and then set that platform for a launch later on.
Here comes Providence again. That's going to go down the leg side. A rather ambitious shout for an LBW. I always think that when they do that, they're trying to put the umpire off from calling away.
He was looking to take that one into the Atlantic Ocean. We swung at that. And so Providence, he wants to get a tap at his brother. This one is hoisted onto the offside. Will it go for 6? It seems as though it did.
It does.
Yes. So Providence taking a tap at his brother here, Mr. Rooks. That one to be a nice sight to see them go home this evening.
Yeah, these are the sorts of things that will go down in history of the family, won't it? Just imagine when they're having their Christmas lunch. That will come out as one of the stories after a couple of drinks.
Yes, that wouldn't be a nice trip in the car this evening. How will he rebound here, Anton? This one is
no ball
down the ground. That'll be another boundary here at the Sid Great Sporting Complex for Antonio Providence. A wonderful shot indeed, and it's a no ball as well. 5 runs to the Boca Reef Divers, taking their tally up to 23 for 1 now. So Providence, he's looking ominous here, Mr. Rooks.
And the painful thing is that he's got to bowl at him again now. And this time, it's the dreaded free hit, isn't it?
Yes. Here's Providence again. 2 Providence. This one hoisted up a long one. Will that go for 6? Yes, it is. So 2 maximums and a 4 in 3 deliveries here for Antonio Providence. And it's as though they are fighting here, both brothers.
Nice work from our cameraman as well. Well done to catch that shot, disappearing off into the distance there.
Sibling rivalry. Who won that battle? Definitely the batsman on that occasion.
19 off that over. 28 for 1 then, Divers. Ako George on 5 and Anthony Providence on 21.
It's a really explosive start here for the Boca Reef Divers. Is it Dillon's going to continue? Yes, it's Dillon. He's going to be bowling to the stylish left-hander Ako George, who's on 5 at the moment. This one is guided past that short third man fielder, and good work there, covering some good ground there, and being able to settle for 1 was the Boca Reef Divers.
Yeah, that was a nice looking shot there, just punch that down for 1. But what was even nicer was the fielder swooping in on that. Nice pick up, clean throw, and kept it down to 1 run.
Yes, I like the run up of Dillon. He's very fluent, and he's taking his time here. He's not rushing anything and not trying too much. And most importantly, he's being consistent here. This one, he's bowled him. Commentator's curse here, Mr. Rooks. I was just rating him up here, and just like that, keeping things simple and picking up a wicket.
Yeah, I was going to say he's got nice zippy action, and what we were talking about, what we have been talking about amongst the team here, is the length. Hit the stumps, you know, and where did he go wrong as far as the shot selection was concerned? Maybe he just played round that one. Simple as that.
Yes. When they crossed the line, there was Providence. And I think his brother will feel satisfied there now that after getting hit for 19, that there was some revenge in terms of Dillon picking up the wicket of him. But it seems as though Freedom McKenna is coming to the middle. He's going to join Ako George. around these parts. Freedom McKenna, they are always calling his name here in Roxborough. I think the few fans that have turned up, very few of course, are looking forward to a knock from him. He owes them a good knock.
Yeah, the big man now out in the middle, just marking his guard as Dillon prepares to work him over, I think, because he's only bowled 2 balls, so he'll have four balls at McKenna, who prepares now. And he plays that defensively back up the track. Dillon has a joking threat to shy at the stumps, but McKenna is not getting involved in anything. He takes a little walk away and practices another defensive shot.
Solid as a rock, Freedom McKenna. And Dillon already picking up 2 wickets, conceding some 9 runs in his 1.3 overs thus far. 30 for 2, the Booker Reef Divers, Jaron Alfred and a Providence to go. This was on the line of the leg stump, tugged away onto the onside. So the first runs on the board for Freedom McKenna, 31 for 2 Booker Reef Divers.
Again, the fielder coming in there quick enough to just keep the batsman to 1.
Some field changes now for the Fort King George Gunners. The mid-on fielder goes back on the boundary too long on.
And it's Akko George who's on strike. Oh, he has a little bit of a dab at that, doesn't he? And he misses. Goes through to the keeper and there's no run.
Luckily for him, that didn't take the outside edge, but the ball as well, it was dying as it arrived to the wicket's keeper. So it's not good here for the batsman, but they need to focus, put their heads down and bat here. It's only 10 overs, of course, and not got much time to settle. But Akko George, we know how destructive he can be. Here he is. He's just guiding that one again. So he's happy to knock around those deliveries, take those singles at the moment. That completes over number 3, the score 32 for 2.
And that was Dillon finishing his bowling spell. 2 overs, 2 for 12. I think he would be perfectly happy with that. Each of the wickets cost him 6 runs. He'd love to take the whole team at 6 runs apiece.
Yes, that's an excellent spell there. Commendations to Dillon. His captain will be proud, his manager and coach as well. So, Fort King George Gunners, who's on top at this point after 3 overs, Mr. Rooks?
Well, 32 on the board. Jaron Alfred gone. Honours are even.
Yeah. I was assuming that you'd say that because there's runs on the board. The run rate already 12.67, 10.67, sorry. And 2 wickets for the Fort King George Gunners. It was good going by both teams here. Evenly poised at the moment. New bowler Duncan. He'll be taking up the attack from the river end. The off spinner. That's a good start. They need to build up some pressure here as the Fort King George Gunners.
Yeah, a little defensive push there, and it didn't go far enough for them to take a single. George waits for Duncan as he comes into bowl. And he looks to sweep that, gets a bit of a top edge, but he gets enough on it, and the man is up, so no chance of a catch there. You would have had to have had the man at deep backward square for him to be brought into it, but he was part way up.
Yes, that's a very smart shot there by Akko George, and that was a badly lined delivery, of course, by the off spinner.
Yeah.
That ball deserved a shot like that. He got a boundary in the end. Takes his tally up to 11.
Oh, that was a poor one. And it just drops in front of the fielder. In fact, it would drop well in front of him. There was no chance of a chance out there, and they come through for 1 run.
Yes, those low full tosses sometimes are the deliveries that gets you out. They are very difficult to hit some of those full tosses. Some may think that it's easy, but out there in the middle when you are playing the game, you just never know what can happen.
And the man who was here for the left-hander deep backward square, he has to be up. He can't be out because of the number in the circle.
Feeder McKenna looking to take that one into the Atlantic Ocean again. Probably get down a couple of coconuts from that tree there at mid-wicket, at deep mid-wicket. And here is Duncan. This one is into the air by Feeder McKenna. Will he be out here? Oh, it's a drop catch. We were complimenting the fielding a while ago, and I thought that was a sitter there, Mr. Rooks.
Yeah, I'm afraid that one should have been snaffled, shouldn't it? You get yourself in that position, you don't want that popping out of your hands, and unfortunately for the fielder, he fluffed that one.
Here he is again, Duncan. Oh, that one just taking the part there. They are looking for a single here. Oh, and a chance for a run out there. And the fielder had 2 chances of getting Freedom McKenna out, and he didn't take it. Could that be a problem here now for the Fort King George Gunners? Will Freedom McKenna be the man to change the game here for the Bucko Reef Divers?
Yeah, that's Keyshawn Dillon who's been in the mix as far as the drop, and then coming in there. Busy little time out there for him. 39 for 2. Yeah, I'll still go with a fairly even at this point. We've got 6 overs to go. If they really push the pedal down, they could come up with a good score.
Something that we are seeing as well today, Mr. Rooks, is the amount of extras that were bowled these last couple of days. We are seeing it is limiting slightly, not much as we've seen in the last couple of days.
Yeah, just pulling it back a little bit as they get better and better at finding their lines, because it was the wides that were doing it really. So a little bit less here.
Familiar with the pitch as well.
Right, so Joshua James is coming into the attack now. Good time for him to come on, because we were saying that this was balanced.
Yeah.
He's for sure looking not only to slow the runs down, but possibly to nip out a couple of these batsmen.
Yes, he is one of the quicker guys in the tournament, along with Nathan Stewart. And here he is, Joshua James. This one again is a good delivery, but they'll get a single quite easily. Here is Aku George and the Bucko Reef Divers. A good start from Joshua James.
Yeah, it was McKenna who had to run to what would have been the danger end, but there was really no danger, and it was a fairly easy run. Ako George comes up to the non-strikers end, and there was a big cheer from the crowd that's in, because they want to see McKenna on strike. Well, they've got that now, and he's going to be facing James as James prepares for his second ball of the over. 40 for 2. George is on 13, McKenna is on 2.
Strengthening the leg side now is the Fort King George Gunners, taking a fielder out from that extra cover position and putting him in a short fine leg position, bringing that short fine leg fielder into the backward square leg position. Here he is, Joshua James. One is looking, Freedom McKenna looking to take him downtown there, but all he will get is a single down to long on. So they are dealing in singles at the moment, the Bucko Reef Divers.
Shaquille Duncan comes in off the boundary to pick that up and keep that to 1. Shaquille Duncan was the fielder the other night who put his foot out in an attempt to stop one off, and Joshua James was down there and he berated him for that. Let's hope he's picked up his fielding tonight. There's James again.
Again, another single taken here by Aku George. So it's an excellent over thus far by the captain, executing his plans nicely thus far, just keeping things tight. And I don't think the Fort King George Gunners would mind these singles being obtained here by the Bucko Reef Divers.
Well, run a ball would see them take 6 off the over,
Stifled appeal there by James and a couple fielders, but that's certainly going down the leg side. Freedom McKenna wasn't able to make connection onto that one, cramping himself for room there.
Dot ball, that's the kind of stuff that James would have wanted. He angled that into the pads of McKenna, and McKenna couldn't put it away. It was just dying on him as well.
Here is James. One short and into the air now. Freedom McKenna allows them to get another chance. And he's put down again. What is the fourth King George Gunners doing here? That's 3 lives to Freedom McKenna.
You were the one who said that he was leading a charmed life. You weren't kidding, were you? And Echo George comes down to have a chat with him. He was visibly upset at that.
Seems as though he walked to the crease with a couple of cloves of garlic in his pocket.
Well, if they continue to put him down, sooner or later they're going to pay for it. Here's James again as he bowls to George. George hits that out to the man in the deepest, Shaquille Duncan, who goes down, pulls it in, and they come through for 1 run. And that's the end of the over. 5 off that over, and the score is 44 for 2.
Yes, at the halfway mark, 44 for 2. Excellent start for the Book Reef Divers, and we're back very soon.
Is at it again. Drives through the offside. That's a magnificent shot for 6. That was over pitched, and you don't do that on this track.
Yes, that's bad bowling by the Fort King George Gunners. I don't know what the coaches told the bowlers at that strategic timeout, but I certainly can tell you that they didn't tell them to pitch up those deliveries to Akko George. 2 consecutive boundaries here now for them. Takes the tally up to 56, and George races on to 27.
George picking up where he left off last night when he led the Divers to their second successive defeat. Now we drive, he loses the bat, and it's going to go just to the left of a deepish backward point, and it now stops just short of the boundary. He is going to come back for 2.
Fingertips to that one there. The fielder, excellent effort diving to his right, and rightfully giving him a touch on the back there was his teammate. But Akko George, he lives to fight another day again, and he now recovers his bat after it almost reached the 30-yard circle. Will he need a change of gloves here?
He's going very hard at that one. He lost his bat. This time this is outside the off, some crashed away over backward point. It's running away very close to the boundary. It's going to get over the boundary now. Remember, the outfield here is a bit heavy, but it goes away for 4. And Akko George is turning the screws here now.
And with those shots that he's playing, he has a very aesthetic pose as well as he goes through with those shots on the offside. And typical left-handers.
He's been given the width, and of course the length is all wrong here at the moment. This time that's a better delivery, driven down the ground for 1. Brings Freedom McKenna onto strike.
Freedom McKenna living dangerously out there in the middle at the start of this game. Already 3 lives given.
This time Freedom McKenna is going to go down the ground, and he's out court. So Freedom McKenna fails to impress yet again. He had 3 lives and couldn't build on it. He's a local favorite here, it seems, but I think that he probably has had better days.
Yes, definitely, and I think that finally they were able to pick up the wicket of Freedom McKenna. As soon as he hit that shot there, no doubt in his mind that was going to be out, because he didn't make the connection as he would have liked. And definitely Akko George, he's not going to bat with Freedom anymore.
George is not going to bat with Freedom. I like that. So Freedom has left the arena, and the score is 63 for the loss of 3. This is over number 6 in progress. A dejected Freedom McKenna leaving the playing area.
New batsman coming to the crease is Pear. Another left-hander here to join Akko George. George on 34 out of the 63 runs that have been scored thus far. Fort King George, and getting some timely wickets. Ever so often you think the Booker Reef Divers are running away with things. The Fort King George Gunners takes that wicket and sets them back.
Well, I don't know about setting them back, but at the end of the day, 63 in over number 6, that's pretty good going. In fact, it's the end of over number 6, so they're scoring over 10. I think if they can get up to 100 here, that is a score they can easily defend.
Yes, definitely.
So Williams just outside the off stump and not being able to make contact, the new batsman. green. This time Pace slaps this away down through backward point. It's going to run away into the boundary now for 4. So given Pace on the ball, all he had to do was to land back the ball, and it's sped away down through backward point for 4.
That's a flashing blade, and he made a wonderful connection onto that one. Sounded very nice off the bat. And getting a boundary, so he's off the mark with a boundary and now pair. For King George Gunners making some changes to the field now. Williams bringing that deep mid-wicket fielder 3/4 way between the 30-yard circle and the boundary.
Sam is slashed away down to third man, and he is out caught. Is he? No. That went away for 4. So I was just blindsided there for a moment. That goes away for 4. What are you getting here, Pair? Pair is getting pace onto the ball, and he's enjoying it.
Yes, well, of course, with the platform set by these batsmen and the amount of runs that they have on the board already, he's playing with a lot of positivity, and even those edges are going to the boundary.
Well, King George will have to win this game. They have 4 games, including this one, to play out, and they don't want to end in the last position, because the last place team gets knocked out of the tournament. The first place team at the end of the round robin phase goes through to the finals, and the second and third, they have a playoff.
Yes, losing 2 already is the Fort King George Gunners.
Here he is again. So it's short, a delivery that rushes onto him. He is pulling away and trying to force it away on the offside. He gets 1. So 1 to pair. He means business. 72 for 3. This is over number 7 in progress.
Table for the tournament thus far. Little Tobago Islanders, they have 3 points.
Well, they actually have 6.
6 now, sorry. Rainforest Rangers, they have 6 because
this time that's slashed away down to the boundary for 4. Yes, 2 teams on 6 points. The Rangers have 6. The Divers, they also have 6. Little Tobago has 3, and Fort George is yet to get off the mark.
yes. Music continues to play here at the Sid Grace Sporting Complex. A wonderful atmosphere, nice cool breeze as well. Everyone, they are all pumped up here to see good cricket, and that's what it has been thus far in the last 3 days of the tournament so far.
Yes, we haven't missed a beat here. This is the 6th match of the tournament, day 3. So, Pair has joined George. This is down the leg side. Runs here. This is going to go in for 4. Let's wait on the umpire signals. It's wide, so that's 5 runs.
Yes, that's a poor delivery there from Antonio Providence. He was punished for 19 in his first over, and coming back in his second now. He has not done any good tonight, the Antonio Providence. And one would hope, his captain would hope actually, that he can change things here for them, pick up a couple of wickets and provide a couple of dot balls as well. 5 runs, 4 wides, 5 wides actually won't help the cause.
Again in the same position. Let's see if he gets back onto this one. It's running away. It's going to be stopped just before it reaches the boundary. They come back for 2. Let's wait on the umpire. That's 2 wides again, so it's now 3. So they run 2, so that's 8 wides in 2 deliveries.
So this over hasn't officially begun as yet, and they've already conceded 7 runs.
Well,
8 runs actually, yes. 8 runs.
And it's all happening in this over. He finally gets one in, and Castles pair. So Pair's on his way for 9, and the score is 84 for 4.
That's what was needed to be done there by Antonio Providence. He quickly realized that it wasn't working for him. The plan darting in those deliveries into the legs of the batsman, and now he kept it a bit straight. Came more into the off stump, and the batsman went swinging, and in the end missing that one. So the batsman coming to the crease now is receiving a lot of cheers from the crowd. Is that Bolivar?
Bolivar is the new man. So Bolivar walks in. He's a heavy set man. So you'll be looking to thump the ball far and wide.
I think with 2 overs and 5 balls to go, we are in for some fireworks here this evening. He's going to be on strike, is Bolivar, facing up to Antonio Providence. His figures thus far: 1 for 27 in 1.1 overs. Moment 12 extras, so a bit expensive here is the Fort King George Gunners in the extras column.
It's going to be Providence now to Brooks, and it's swung away. 6 runs. What a start from Brooks.
Oh my goodness, I can tell you here tonight, I already said that we'll be in for some fireworks here at Bolivar at the crease, and already in his first delivery hitting that one out of the park.
Bolivar seems to be one of those crass batsmen. Doesn't really go for aesthetics, but more effectiveness. He has a 2-eyed stance. And Bolivar again, he's going down the ground. That's 6 more. Bolivar is lighting up the place here. It's now the 96, is it? 96 for the loss of 4 wickets. And Bolivar, 12 of 2 deliveries.
Well, as he was walking to the crease, the few fans that turned up here this evening were cheering, and they haven't stopped cheering until now. They have continued with those 2 sixes on Bolivar.
Bolivar is really setting the place alight on a Sunday night here in Roxborough. He bowls him again, and this is a worked away down to a long one position. That's 1 more. 97 for 4.
I can tell you that
Fort King George will be chasing a significant total here.
Yes, definitely. I can tell you that front foot of Bolivar doesn't go nowhere at all. Just stands and delivers.
George has been a mere spectator for the last couple deliveries. He's in now, and that's a good delivery, a quicker one. Looking to get a single, advancing down the track. It's not there. George is on 38. He has been informed. This is over number 8. So 2 to go after this.
Seems to be a fair shout there from the bowler, but the batsman, you walk down the track a bit. So I think it's a good decision from the umpire in the end.
Sam's outside the off, some forced away nicely down to third man. Runs here for him. He's going to come back for 2, George. And that takes him to 40. 99 is it now for 4.
Well, he trusted Bolivar to make that double because he wasn't running to the danger end. It was all Brooks going to the danger end. So in the end, getting a double quite easily. 99 for 4 at the end of 8 overs. Brooks on 40 and Brooks on 13. And Ako George on 40 actually, and Brooks, he's on 13. Sorry about that.
So it's going to be a Bolivar to face. He gets an opportunity to bring up the 100.
I think we need to look out under the tent here, Mr. Mamcha.
James is going to continue. He's going to bowl the penultimate over, the second and final over for him. He bowls and this is struck away by Bolivar. It's coming way toward 10. And it hits the media 10. There goes Sheldon Rooks. He's diving all over the place. And Sheldon Rooks is looking as if he is now shaken.
Well, it doesn't look good for Rookie. But it looks good for Bolivar.
Bolivar is lighting up the place here. Here's James. He goes in again. And Bolivar slaps this away. He's going to get one. He's probably only good for one at the moment. And that takes him to 20. It's 106 for 4.
Exciting times here at the Sid Gray Sporting Complex. Bolivar seems to be in a no-nonsense mood here tonight. And it seems as though he's been given the freedom to come out here and play. And I was just saying that we need to look out here in under the tent. And as soon as I said that, the ball came towards us.
George gets a delivery outside the off stump. A full delivery. It was wide, but not called wide. Legal delivery there. So the score remains now is 106 for 4. This is over number 9. Well, they could well be chasing 120 or more.
Well, now they have definitely crossed the highest score for the tournament thus far. But to be fair to the batsman, I thought that the last delivery was a wide.
Here's James, and this time it's a bouncer, and it eludes the wicketkeeper. It goes down to long leg, and it's going to go into the boundary for 4 byes. 110 for 4. In fact, he has signaled wide. It's 111 now for the loss of 4 wickets. 5 runs coming there. Nelson, 111.
Yes, it's not going good for the Fort King George Gunners tonight. They will need to finish this innings well here. It's already past 100. Don't want to be chasing anything over 121-30. But at this stage, the way in which the divers are going, they are certainly heading in that direction.
Outside the off stump, and the umpire is going to signal wide. James just shortening his run up now. And this is slashed away by George. Would it get to the fielder on the point boundary? No. They take 1. George goes on to 41. It's 112 now, is it?
Yes.
113.
13, yes. But the main
13 for 4.
Main thing for the divers, Bolivar is back on strike.
So take cover.
Duck cover and hold on. Things you do for earthquake.
This is happening around the corner again. It's teasing the fielder who is at the deep backward square boundary. He was on the point boundary a ball before. And that goes on. That takes the score on by 114. 21 to Bolivar. 41 to George. Is this over still going on?
Yes, it is.
Mr. Bikram now signals 1 to go. Wide outside the off stump, and he eludes the keeper again. They take a signal. The umpire is going to signal wide, so I expect Mr. Bikram to signal to me 1 delivery to go again. And he does. 115 for the loss of 4. 116 for 4.
Good guy, Ronnie. Can always depend on that guy.
Yes. Bolivar hits straight down the ground. It's going to fall short of the fielder running around. And that's Walmore. It's 117. The over finally comes to an end. I think they could be chasing 125.
Only 125, Mr. Mamchan, with the way Bolivar and Aqua George are going at the moment.
What's your prediction?
I'll say 132. It's gonna bowl the last over here now for the Fort King George Gunners. Joshua James just changing his field, making sure everything is in place for this final over. They don't want to concede many runs in this over to be chasing anything over 130, 140. This partnership is a really vital one for the Book Reef Divers. It's already on to 33. It's going to be Shaquille Duncan taking up the ball for the Fort King George Gunners.
And Bolivar goes into the sea. This one goes into the sea. That's a 12.
I think that's the biggest six of the tournament thus far from Bolivar. Stand and deliver stuff here from the big man.
28. And there goes the umpire with a box of balls. Well,
Yes.
he's gone out there on many occasions. He seems to have a lot of balls because balls have been flying out of this ground on a regular basis.
Yes.
Do you think the umpire has a lot of balls?
Yes, he does. To be going out there in the firing line, Mr. Mamchan, he has to have a lot.
How many deliveries to go? 5.
5 more.
Oh, Bolivar again, it peels off the outer edge and he's out. So Bolivar goes caught at cover. That he would have thrilled the big crowd on hand here.
Yes, definitely a good hand here played by Bolivar. That 28 came off less than 10 balls, I can tell you that. And he has been greeted with cheers from the few fans that have turned up here. They must welcome such a knock.
Clinton Brooks, aka Bolivar, also 28. You're quite right, 28 of 9.
Yes, and tell you that they are going to get 132. Let's see.
So it's going to be George.
Coach.
Cross outside the leg stump, and that's a signal wide. Duncan Bowes and George. What a shot! He poses for the cameras. A magnificent shot over long on, and that takes the score to 130.
Akko Super George here at the Sid Gray Sporting Complex. He's continuing his good form from yesterday, taking that one from outside the off stump and carrying it over mid wicket. A magnificent shot indeed.
A wide signal. This time he's down the ground. He loses that bat again. And he's out stumped. So George, after his half century last night, his unbeaten half century, he leaves for a well-paid 47.
Yes, a good knock. Unfortunately, he couldn't get his half century tonight, as well as second consecutive one as Nathan Stewart did tonight. But a wonderful knock from him, and I'm sure he'll be greeted by cheers from the fans and by his teammates as well. 131 for 6, the Boca Reef Divers. 2 more balls remaining in this over of Shaquille Duncan. Kwani Thomas coming to the middle here.
So Kwani Thomas is the man in. Two deliveries to go. So Duncan just short outside the off stump and goes through to the wicketkeeper. You think the divers would have scored enough to remain unbeaten?
Definitely, I think that the divers have scored enough because the Fort King George Gunners batting has not been up to par.
This time it has worked away down to the sweeper's position on the cover boundary, and that's a good return. And is he run out? Yes, he is. So 1 run again. It's 132 for the loss of 7 wickets. That's the final score. And stay tuned as we'll be right back to see the reply as the Fort King George Gunners needs 133 to win to register their first victory in this tournament. They have already lost 2 matches. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Laura, how is that for a prediction?
Fort King George. They have to chase down 133 in 10 overs. Joining me is Visham Lalman, the man from Rio Claro in the South Trinidad. Bison Trace in La Gloria.
Yes, a place where the Bisons resided a couple years back.
So, I don't want to give wrong information. So, you're actually from Bison Trace in Buffalipso Village, La Gloria.
That's right.
Down the leg side, and there's a loud appeal for stumping. The standing umpire signals wide in the interim. Now, you could get stumped off a wide, and the square leg umpire says he's okay.
But kudos to the wicketkeeper. That's very tidy work there from him. A good take and a good execution as well of the stumping. Actually, he wasn't out, but chance of a stumping.
Skipper James went for a bit of a tap towards the back end. Just came back with the West Indies under 19 team, and this is whipped away for 4. Bad line, and the bat speed was the key on that occasion. He got to the ball quickly and was able to get it into the boundary for 4.
Fort King George Gunners already losing 2 games, and looking at that target of 133 for victory. They need to start big here. Is Joshua James and Alwyn Daniel, because Joshua James, he had 24 runs in the tournament thus far, 22 in the first game, 2 in the second. He didn't open in the second game, he opened in the first, and here he is back again at it.
It's a good delivery. Still gets a single. In between the big shots, he'll have to keep rotating the strike. Keep the scoreboard ticking, so to speak.
They have some good batting in the shed, though. They have the Duncan brothers, Shaquille and Selvin Duncan. 55 and 45 runs in the tournament, respectively.
And it's a short and forced away to cover. There is no run.
Kwani Thomas opening the bowling for the Bucca Reef Divers.
This time it's worked away for 1 more, so they're keeping the scoreboard ticking. Score is now 8 without loss.
Something that they failed to do in the last couple of games, and I thought that proved to be the reason why they lost those games. And a lot of appeal here for LBW, and
he's given.
Yeah.
So James goes. That's a big blow. He's not happy with the dismissal. He has to leave. And Fort King George Gunners having to go after quick runs. You will see shots like that, and he has to go.
Why is he getting on like that, Joshua James? He dropped his bat in disgust as well. He's hitting the ground now. Young man, he's not supposed to be getting on like that. Just respect the decision of the umpire. He has the best seat in the house to make the decision, and I thought that was a very good decision in the end. It was a quicker delivery from Kwani Thomas, and that was crashing into middle and off.
Makes a big strike. Going to be Jones, the left arm medium pacer. This delivery is edged down to third man. It should run into the boundary now for 4, and let's wait on the umpire's signal. 4, no ball, so a free hit will be coming up.
I think that the Fort King George Gunners will appreciate those sort of opportunities here now. Already getting 5 free runs on the board.
This is a pull away.
So it's good tight bowling here by the Bago Reef Divers thus far, complementing their good work with the bat as well. It's a simple task in front of them with such a target. But cricket plays on the field.
So Simon squeezed away behind square for one. So it's a very tall order, but they can't get too preoccupied with it. Obviously, they'll want to take advantage of the first 3 overs, the power play. Because if you're chasing such a huge target, which means you're going at 13.3 and over, you will want to maximize the power play.
Yes, definitely, and already losing a wicket in that power play.
Samson struck down the ground. He could be in trouble. Just over the fielder, and they're going to go back for 2.
A very good attempt in the end. He had some ground to cover running back from mid-on. Yes, from mid-off. And he had some work to do in the end. Burst through his hand. I thought that he could have went with 2 hands on that occasion. He may have had a better chance.
Always running back was going to be difficult. I thought the fielder at a wideish low horn might have had a better chance. But he had quite a distance to cover as well. Jones bowls. That's a very good delivery. And that is the sort of line that he wants to adopt.
Don't want to give the batsman any room, cramp him for that room, and also not let him get under the deliveries as well. Needs to be consistent here, the bowler.
This is again not getting hold of it, and your good friend Bolivar hits the ground and still fires in the return.
Good piece of work there from Bolivar. And good support from his teammates as well to get that ball in time. But in the end, not being able to issue that run out.
So it's 19 for 1 after 2.
Yes, a good start here for the Bago Reef Divers. An attempt to defend 132 for victory. And they will tell themselves that they're in a comfortable position at the moment. But you just never know if the Fort King George Gunners can have a change of fate in this game. After losing 2 games already in the tournament. I think if they lose this game, they may well and truly be out of the tournament.
I think they'll still have an outside chance, seeing that just the 4th place team will be going out. They'll still have 3 matches. They'll have to win all and hope that other results go their way as well. Oh, what a hit. What a hit. That is over the coconut trees. I think that is one of the biggest we've seen. In the slot, and he just went with it there, Duncan.
Yes, that's an outrageous shot there from Duncan. And I think that all of these batsmen in the tournament are competing to see how far they can hit the ball over that coconut tree. That's a target for them.
That was a huge hit. That delivery was just right in the slot. Sabi goes again. And 6 more. Are we in for a cracker?
You just never know. We have 2 consecutive 6s in this over thus far. And they are carrying on from where the Bago Reef Divers left off in the first innings. And that's good to see. You don't want to see a one-sided game. It's never good to see a one-sided game. You just want to see competitive cricket, and that's what we are seeing out there in the middle.
Well, your friend with the balls has to be very aware. This time he drives down the ground. That's a lovely shot. Is that 6 more? Yes, it is. 3 successive sixes. It's all happening here at Roxborough.
My oh my, we were expecting it to rain, but it's raining sixes here in Roxborough tonight. And is this the storm that they were looking forward to, Mr. Mamchan?
This could well be the storm. This could be the break that the Fort King George Gunners were looking for. So 18 of 3 deliveries. Selvin Duncan is on 18. So here's Kwani again. He beholds, and this time he's looking to go down behind square again in the slot. So Kwani has to be careful here.
Targeting the C's there again was Shaquille Duncan. Well, that one was going down the leg side. He's in the path of Duncan.
Sammy tosses up and driven beautifully. He's going to get 1. So Kwani is not afraid of tossing the ball up.
Yes, he's showing that he's not afraid of that, but getting hit for 3 sixes, he's on the back foot at the moment. He came back well though.
So here's Daniel on strike now, and he pushes it back on the offside. It's the end of the over. At the end of the over, the score is 38 for 1. At this point in time, the pass score is 40 for 1. And so 38 for 1, they're doing well after 3 overs.
Yes, definitely. And the run rate up to 13, the required run rate that is up to 13.57. And the current run rate is 12.67, so just under that required run rate. The partnership already for the Fort King George Gunners up to 30. So this is proving to be a good partnership for them.
Probably a good time to bring in Ronnie Bikram Das with his thoughts on what he saw in the last over. 3 sixes of 3 balls, Ronnie. Are we in for a cracker?
Well, definitely, yeah, we're in for a good finish. If these 2 guys, Duncan has shown his class throughout this tournament thus far, if he can get someone to stay with him and not just rotate the strike, but also enhance by hitting boundaries, that's what Daniel is doing as well. So he needs to go, yes, but he needs somebody to work with him as well, not just rotate the strike.
Well, I think it's more than rotating the strike. You need some lusty blows as well from his opposite number. And I'm looking at Daniel, just looking to play that last delivery in the previous over right back along the track. I thought he should have been a little more, what should I say, not adventurous, but a little more purposeful in looking to get runs.
Does Fort King George Gunners have a Bolivar in their shed?
So Alfred, the captain, comes in and this is swung away. It's in the air, it's off the top edge. It's going to be very difficult to take that catch. And he drops it. It was always going to be difficult for Bolivar because it made a lot of height. It went into the darkness and back into the light. The reactionary period was very short, and the good old Bolivar made good ground to reach there and in putting it down in the end.
He never looked comfortable, Bolivar, but he reached the ball. I thought that he should have taken the catch in the end. And that could have been some problems there for him. Just falling close to his head there.
The semi drive is coming down by the media box. He should be out caught. Yes, he is. Caught at cow corner. And that's the end of Duncan. And this is what you would get chasing big runs. Ronnie Bikram Das.
Yeah, definitely you would get that sort of wickets. Wickets definitely will fall. Batsmen, they know they have to go after it. And in going after it, they'll have to go hard. And that's the key. In going hard, you don't time the ball as well as you would want. And more often than not, you may hit it up in the air. So he has to be aware of that as well. So it's about, yes, hitting the ball hard, but it's about calm cricket here. collected. And just relax, play the game, hit the ball on the merit, and try your best. That's all you can do. And the main man that they would be counting on, Duncan, he has been dismissed.
So he goes to 21. It's now 40 for 2, going at 132. The thoughts of Isham Lalman.
Well, another wicket there for the Booker Reef Divers, putting Fort King George Gunners further in trouble here now. And at 40 for 2 in the fourth over, they are in some problems.
So here's Alfred. He bowls again. Good pace, rushing on to the batsman. Can't get him away. So Daniel is still in there. Oh, so Duncan. One Duncan replaces the other. That's a slow delivery. This is good bowling here by Alfred. Squeeze away down behind a square. They're going to come back for 2. But good bowling there from the young man, Jaron Alfred. Alfred, who plays his trade in Trinidad and in Trinidad. Where do you play your trade, Vishan?
I might trade at George Village Forest Reserve. A good club.
Yes, a very good club. Sammy's bowling all over the shop. A beautiful sight for any fast bowler. The middle stump, rock back, and wicket number 3. And of course, as Bikram Das was saying early on, when you have such a mountain to climb, you must take a risk.
Yes, pressure here for the Fort King George Gunners. It's not going well for them at all, and as they are looking to press on, they continue to lose wickets here, and that's not good for them. And that's the end of Daniel. He departs for 9, so he wasn't able to add any much runs on the board that they would need. Another 91 runs required here with some 6 overs and 1 ball remaining.
And 3 wickets already down. It's true. So Nola comes in.
No, only 15 runs in the tournament.
John Alfred has turned this game on its head here in his first over. 2 wickets thus far.
I think that some persons still think that the Fort King George Gunners has it in them to get to that target.
There's Alfred, arms pumping. Good pace. Looking to make room here was all. It's the end of over number 4. The run rate is 10 and over. It's actually 10.5, but they've lost 3 wickets.
Yes, and all of a sudden there's a different energy, lift in the step here of the Booker Reef Divers team. And as a great man would say, they seem to be diving towards victory.
Yes.
Yes, so welcome back, and Fort King George Gunners under some pressure at the moment. 42 for 3, chasing 133 for victory here in day 3, the second game, day 3 of the Chief Secretary's Bago T10 Blast.
FKG Gunners. They've been hunted by the divers. Providence was a brother on the opposite side. Pushed away on the offside. A bit of fielding there by the big man Bolivar.
Wow, that's very impressive by Bolivar. Some would say that they won't expect a man of his stature to be athletic in the field, but certainly
He is athletic, I can tell you that.
Yes, collecting that one cleanly and getting it to the wicketkeeper very quickly.
He has given us ample examples of his fielding prowess.
Yes.
Sam tries. This one goes, beats backward point. 1-0. He's off and running.
It was good work by that fielder in the cover position, getting a hand to that, and save a certain boundary there, and off the bat of Noah. Oh, this will definitely take some doing here from the Fort King George Gunners. This one is crunched to the offside, and they will only get one, looking for two, and they will get it quite easily in the end. Wolfer throws may allow them to get three, and yes, they get three in the end. Sloppy work in the field there from the Bago Reef Divers, letting things up slightly on that occasion. 47 for 3 here, the FKG Gunners. Shaquille Duncan, he's on 4. Noah on 1. It's a big ask here for the FKG Gunners. The required run rate is up to 15.84.
Tell you something, if they could get that, it'll be in for tremendous excitement tonight.
Yep. Is there something wrong with the field? The wicketkeeper here now.
Yes. He's doing some stretching.
Seems to be his wrist, because he's taken the inners off his left hand. He is really looking to be in some pain here now. In the last game we saw the wicketkeeper in the Little Tobago Islanders. He was down for a while as well. Now we are seeing the Bago Reef Divers wicketkeeper. He's smiling, but I can tell you that he's in a lot of pain here, the wicketkeeper. So they seem to be changing the glove men here now. It looks like Bolivar, he's going to be taking the gloves.
Well, he's actually assisting the wicketkeeper in taking his pads off. We're not sure if he's going to take the glove. Yes, and we are back, and the wicketkeeper, yes, he's going off the field now. Unfortunate. That's very unfortunate for the Bago Reef Divers, and I want to wish him all the best. Hope he gets better and he's back up and running for the next game or further on. Yes, it's
Oh, you were right. It's Bolivar that's taking the gloves. It's a short delay here in play. Just to give you a recap of how things went thus far. Remember, the Booker Reef Divers, in their turn at the crease, they managed to get 132 for 7 in their 10 overs, thanks to Bolivar himself scoring 28 and 47 from Providence, Antonio Providence, that is. And now Fort King George Gunners, they are looking for 133 to win. They are batting 47 for 3. No 0-1. Shaquille Duncan is on 4. Selvin Duncan, is on 4. Shaquille Duncan, he has already departed for 9. Here's the bowler actually, Anthony Providence. And that one coming off the legs of the batsman, and actually it's not off the legs. It's a wide signal by the umpire. So that's 2 runs to the total. 49 for 3.
This one is driven hard down the ground. He gets one more, and is that the 50 for FKG Gunners?
That's right. The half century is up here for the Gunners. A long way to go.
They've lost 4 wickets.
3.
3 wickets, sorry, and this is over number 5 in progress.
Yep.
The shot, he pulls at it and it rushes onto him. So he was into the shot early and just 1 to all. So Orr and Duncan at the crease at the moment. And either or of them has to go for the runs.
Yes. Yes, that's right, Mr. Mamchan. Shaquille Duncan, Selvin Duncan, he needs to do some.
It's cracked away and an attempt by so Pear just half stopping that one. And the strategic timeout comes at a time with the score FKG Gunners 52 for the loss of 3.
53 for 3, and we are back after the strategic timeout, the final strategic timeout for the night here on day 3 of the Chief Secretary Bago T10 Blast. Fort King George Gunners chasing 133 for victory. And Mr. Rooks, what do you think they need to do at this stage to get that total?
16 and over is too big an ask, really. You know, you've got 3 wickets down. Top batter's gone in Joshua James. You know, I wouldn't say talisman, but certainly as the skipper, you're going to look to him to be there and do a bit. But he's gone fairly early as well. So it is, well, even when we saw the total, we thought it was too big. But now at the halfway point, I still feel that.
Seems to be a wide, and yes, it's signaled by the umpire now, so that'll take the tally up by 1. The new bowler is A. McKenna. He is bowling to Selvin, no, actually Noah Orr. Very short run up, 2 steps on a swing and a miss there by Orr.
And there's a real temptation, isn't there, when you're chasing, to snatch at anything that you see that looks remotely hittable.
He's bowling? No.
Yeah,
that's coming off the pads.
Came off the pads, yeah. Bolivar's a big target there at the back.
Yes. He's looked good tonight, Bolivar. He's played confidently, and in all parts of the game he's looked good. That one came off of the outer half of the bat there.
Even in the outfield,
yeah.
He dived for one and threw it in athletically. Well, he threw it in. It's good effort, nice strong arm from the big fella.
2 steps from, this one's hit down the ground, and it'll go to long off, so Duncan will pick up a single.
Bago George is the man in the outfield.
Duncan's going to be facing up to McKenna. He's going to have his first look off McKenna. Of course, he don't have time for sighters here now. Swing, and that will run down to long off. A wideish long off. Will he get 2 here? Looking for it, but in the end, settle for a single. So singles won't do it.
No, they also need a few big overs, and I think when Selvin Duncan was in and he was spanking them over that cream-painted wall, things looked promising for a moment.
Again, keeping a bit low on that occasion. We saw this quite a lot in this over. Duncan looking for a second again, because it's pressure on the batsman here at the moment. And it seems as though that brings the 6th over to an end. The score 57 for 3.
That was Bago George again, busy in the outfield, picking up and running in. I've noticed that because of the nature of the game, you have a number of fielders who would normally be at positions like point or cover. They're out in the deep because they've got good hands, they're good fielders. So you can afford to give the one here. You don't really worry what's happening there. You want your fielders who've got good hands out in the deep because you're going to have a lot of big hits.
Yes, definitely. And 80 from 24 deliveries. That's the equation here at the moment at the Sid Gray Sporting Complex.
Yeah, things leap up pretty quickly as far as the required run rate is concerned. It's now up to 19. Yeah, that was
the leg side and a wide signal by the umpire.
He could afford to just let that one go. As soon as it came out of his arm, it looked like wide, didn't it?
Yes. So here is Providence again. That one's down the leg side. They may get 2 here. The fielder from third man coming around, the short third man that is, and they will get 2. 60 for 3.
This is a huge ask for Orr and Duncan. Could be interesting though.
This one is played away onto the offside. Expansive drive, looking for 2 again. And there's a chance for an out. And a loud appeal there, but in the end he reached home safely there. So 2 runs again to the total.
Yeah, that was good running there from Nolan Orr. He's not very tall. He's quick across the ground. And if you look at the way that he was grounding his bat,
Yeah.
he always looked safe there. He looked comfortable.
Is Providence. This one again is on the line of the leg stump, and that'll be leg byes. Signaled by the umpire, yes.
Yeah, it was really an over-ambitious ask for LBW, given where he'd pitched the last 2. That had the same kind of shape to it as well, so no chance of giving that one out.
They need something special here, the Fort King George Gunners. Who is it going to come from? Well, it's left to be seen here. Do you think that he can still get it, Mr. Rook?
Orr and Duncan, you know, you've got a couple of people coming in afterwards. It's too big a task.
Wow, what a catch there at cover. Diving to his left there was the fielder. That was hit very hard by Duncan. And in the end, a wonderful catch. Even Mr. Rooks is dancing in the commentary booth.
Well, good fielding. I like to see good fielding. Yeah. Good catches are not easy to take, but I've seen a couple. We've probably seen 3 superb, high-quality catches, and that was one of them. That really was a terrific catch.
Yes, definitely. And you were just mentioning that it looks to be the end for the Fort King George Gunners. I don't like to write off teams early, but I think that it's fair to say that the Fort King George Gunners, this game is running away from them very quickly.
That was the skipper leading there with that catch, Jerron Alfred, diving forward and taking a really, really high quality catch. And given the nature of where the teams are, you have to go for your shots, you have to try and push it, and at some stage you are going to put it in the air and probably give chances. And that one was held. It was beautifully held, actually.
Yes, definitely high quality indeed, like a Cricket 360 stream.
21 is the required run rate, by the way.
So an attempt to sweep that one onto the onside, and there's I think it's part there. So a dot ball here from Providence.
Yeah, Bolivar runs away from the stumps to field there. He's been kept pretty busy, hasn't he? He was out there with the bat for a bit, did a little bit, and then he was in the field. Now he's behind the stumps.
Well, split onto the offside, down to long off. Will it be taken? Yes, it will. So 2 wickets in the over here, and trouble here for the Fort King George Gunners now. The Boca Reef Divers, they are heading towards their 3rd victory in the tournament.
Yeah, big wicket. There were huge celebrations there as well. And the reason for that was a danger man.
What a performance here by the Boca Reef Divers thus far. Really good excitement for the few that have turned up and for everyone tuned in on Cricket 360 and MAQ TV. It's been a really good excitement. Kudos to the players and the management staff.
Well, it was always the moment that you saw 133 on the board as the target, you knew it was going to be a huge task.
A slight drizzle now, Mr. Rooks. You can feel it. You a man who knows much about the weather here in Roxborough.
Well, it depends which way the weather's blowing, where it's coming from. Anyway, here's the next delivery. That's hit. Just tucked onto the leg side there. They run through for 1. Yeah, the big concern is if it comes over the hill off the ocean. Not the case though. Keelan James is the new batsman, but it's Nolan Orr who's on strike here, facing McKennie. Pulls that one down, and that's pulled into the onside, and they come through for 1 run.
I think it's just for them to bat out here now. Let's get up these 2 batsmen at the crease. They can still put up a fight.
Yeah, there's no point at any point at you don't give up.
Yeah.
It's just a question of how you set your targets. You know that you're looking at 25 runs and over now. That's a required run rate. So probably beyond that team now, without a doubt, actually.
One is punched down the ground too long off. And an easy single there for Orr. So that brings the 8 over to an end. No, it's not. That's the end of the 8 over. 1 more delivery remaining here. Just a change around there for the fielders. And so McKenna coming over the wicket. This one, it's into the air, and that will land on top of the pavilion. That's a huge hit there, Mr. Rooks.
Yeah, he got hold of that one. Not quite sure as if it would have been as big. You're not quite sure if it would have been as big as Navin Stewart's, but that's going to get caught. I thought that Akko George was going to hold on to that one.
There's always that chance when you are diving forward for those catches of the ball just bumping out of your hand as you hit the ground. So you just never know. That's probably what has happened there. So at the end of 8 overs, the score 79 for 5. Noah Orr, he's on 10. James, he is on 4. On 8, sorry.
It looks a little worse than it is, really.
Yeah.
It's light.
The required run rate 27. At the moment, the rain is with us, and will the ground staff be called out here? They are already in position.
I think they probably will.
Yeah. It's getting harder now. The rain.
Yeah, I can just hear things now. And the umpires have decided that it's just that little bit too strong, and they're going to come off. The covers are going to come on. We may go to a break here, and we're sorry that things have been interrupted, but if there's any chance of us coming back, we will.
Yes, well, if there's... I think that if the rains are with us, of course, and I think that if there's any decision to be made, I think that the Bucca Reef Divers, they will go home with the victory tonight. And at the moment, we'll just take a short break after more thoughts from you, Mr. Rooks. One would hope that the rain stops and we get those 2 overs in for the viewers. But after more thoughts from you, we'll take a short break and return very soon.
Yeah, it just picked up the rain a little bit there. Just started with a light drizzle, and unfortunately it's coming down pretty strongly. As we just said, there are only 2 overs left to go, and the Bucca Reef Divers are well ahead in this one. If it does let up in the next couple of minutes or so, I'm sure we'll try and finish things off, but for the time being we are going to take a break. We're going to take a break here.
Bye.